Good evening, folks. Welcome to the stream. I'm joined by a special guest. Say hello, Duncan.
Hello, everybody.
That's not what I asked him to say, is it? I said, say hello, Duncan. Duncan, tell us about yourself. Why are you here?
I'm here because basically I'm a train guard or senior conductor for what's now West Midlands Railway, but used to be London Midland, on the Cross City Line, and it's been I've been working on the line for now nearly 6 years. So it's it's been a pleasure to help out with this project. So I thought.
So you've actually been helping the team actually building this, and been providing them some advice and so on, have you?
Yeah, exactly. I've been getting messages pretty much throughout the day, constantly, sometimes through the night as well, from most of the team, asking me different bits and bobs about the unit and about the route itself. And I went out and did a video of each different station to basically get them help for the modelling the stations, because it's obviously with coronavirus at the moment, it's hard to get out and do reference material. So as I had the chance, I went out and helped them out.
Yeah, very good. Right, well, I'm sure we'll get more information from you as we go along, and we enjoy the route. But first, let's take a quick look at the product. This is Cross City Line. Comes with 6 scenarios. I think there's some rail fans in there as well. So we've got these 3. So we're going to run across the city, and then we're going to do a bit of a quick drive to round out our time. We have an hour and a half in our slot. Let me just bring up the schedule. And my highlights don't work very well because I've got them both marked as Friday. That's great. Let's try this, shall we? Right, hopefully you can hear me, folks. So this is a schedule for this evening. Starting tonight, right now, we've got Cross City Line for about an hour and a half. Then we're going to be moving to Simpson Stuff, who are going to be running Edinburgh to Glasgow at 9:30. Then from 10 o'clock, we have that's from 9:30 till 10:30, and then 10:30 until 11:30 ish. We've got Drawyah taking us on a run down the West Coast or up the West Coast Mainline. So lots to look forward to this evening. But yes, as I said, we are going to start today with a run on the Cross City. So without further ado, just get in the game. Oh dear. So you've been working on the line for what, 6 years now?
Near enough, yeah. I started in May 2015 on the railway, and it's been enjoying it fairly much most of the time ever since.
Excellent. Right, good afternoon, driver. Please release the doors and get the train ready to depart on time at 13:50. The line is quiet at this time and there are no reported problems, so this should be nice and easy to run to Bromsgrove. See, I never believe it when they say that, but I'm just cynical. Have a look at your timetable for departure and have a nice trip. Let's get the doors open, pull that back there and get AWS dealt with. Right, we are good to go. We need headlights. I've got headlights on. Let's have a quick fly around the train. This is the what we're looking at here, Duncan.
So we're looking at the Class 323, built by Hunslet TPL, very long time ago, not long before I was born, actually, 1992. I think they were made. The first one started into production anyway. Very quick. Very quick accelerating and braking units. They're really only suited to the Cross City Line because of the how close some of the stations are. It was quite an interesting one to find all the old stickers for this, because when London Midland left, obviously there wasn't much in the way of reference material for the unit itself. Luckily, I got the chance in 2017 to go around one of the units at Soho Depot, which is just north of Birmingham, and when I managed to survey the unit as much as I could, anything I didn't get, I managed to get more recently from old stores areas. I've been asking people, for different stickers and things that we can just use as reference material, and the modeller for the train's been really grateful for it, and we've been working very hard for it. Well, I can't take any credit for it, but the modelers have been working very hard for the route, and I found some of those old posters in a drawer somewhere. Those Keep on Track and London Midland posters.
That's really cool. So it's one of those things, isn't it? When you've got access to, you had the foresight, fortunately, to do a photo survey on something before it disappeared. See, I want to fill that. I want to fill that. Where's my blank posters? Anyway, so what station are we at here?
We are at Litchfield, Trent Valley. So this is Litchfield, Trent Valley in 2017-18-ish. We've set it around the sort of changeover period between London Midland and the newer company. So at this period, there was no lifts. It was a very non-disabled friendly access station. But yeah, it's It's looking really nice. I'm very pleased with how it's coming out.
Very good. Right. Okay.
There we go. Oh, you forgot your tail lights.
I always forget my tail lights. Right, 25 limit coming up. Right, I might need to turn the game sound up, folks. Let me know how the audio is. Just going to bump up the audio a little bit, just so that you can hear it. Right, back in the 60.
Yeah.
So we've got talk us around the cab. What are the toys?
So let's stick the fan on, as it's a summer's day. We'll get the fan going.
Nice.
Nice little animation of the fan. So we've got in the top left-hand, starting in the top left-hand corner, we've got some saloon lights on and off, and they do work. I don't think they work in the passenger view, but I think they do work on the outside of the train. So in the night time, you can have the lights on or off, and that's quite useful for one of the scenarios, as you do a couple of empty coaching stock runs. On the left-hand side, you've got the left-hand door control panel. These trains are operated by a guard in reality, so the driver has no involvement in the doors, whatsoever. He basically drives the train to the station. The guard opens and closes the doors, checks everything's safe, and then gives the.
Sounds like the guard takes great pride in this job.
He does. And basically, when the train's ready to depart, he'll go zzz, zzz on the buzzer, and the driver will then drive along to the next stop, and it'll do it all over again.
Can I go zzz?
You can. There you go.
Okay.
Then you've got the main driving controls on the left-hand side, which is the power braking controller, and that has 4 power notches, 3 brake steps, and an emergency brake. And yep, we can use the off, forward, neutral, reverse, and the master key. Then on the left-hand panel, you've got the headlights and tail lights, and you've got off headlights, then day mode, night mode, and marker lights. Usually the marker lights in a sort of depot environment. Then you've got the pantograph up and pantograph down, and those have got separate audio for each, and a nice little slow animation for the pantograph. Mm-hmm. We've got the DRA in the middle, which is the driver's reminder appliance, and that's basically to prevent the driver from taking power towards a red signal.
Excuse me. Right, so we are stopped now. Right, before we do that, let's pop back here
Tail lights on.
Put tail lights on. Got tail lights on now. No one ever accused me of being competent. Got blinds. This is the important bit.
Oh yeah.
If you want to drive in hard mode, yeah. I remember you sharing a photo within the beta team. The cab view is this far back, isn't it? Your driver's view is kind of feels this far back, doesn't it?
When you've got the seat all the way back, as you can see from our pictures, the seat's all the way at the very back. When you're sat at the with the cabs, for a tall person like myself, I'm 6'4", sat pretty much all the way back, and with the seat all the way up. That's pretty much what you can see. Your field of view as a person is quite far. So I asked them to set it a bit further back, so we weren't sort of just squished into the windscreen on its own. So just left Litchfield City, the home of the three-spired cathedral.
Just gonna have a look around the outside. I'm focusing on the train, not really looking at the route because there's some.
Yeah, you might want to press Control D just so your DSD doesn't go off by accident.
It'll be fine. What could go wrong?
Yep. So this is the old colour scheme that was that predated the new one. The new one's sort of in a very old LMS style. I think it's LMS. It's sort of chocolate and custard coloured at the moment. And that was sort of a newer thing when the new company took over.
Right. accelerate up to 85 then.
45.
Did I say 85?
You did.
Nice. So this is what inherently I want to do at the moment, apparently. To be honest, this is genuinely my first time looking. I had a brief load check on it earlier on, but this is my first time looking at the route. So I'm kind of looking at it with the viewers for the first time. I know you've spent a lot of time, with the team, driving up and down the route and giving them feedback. But pardon me for just gazing around lovingly.
I know. Carry on. So I took about a week off work just to give a bit of extra time on the Beaters forum for just giving a bit of extra feedback and finding out what else we could find out to sort of improve it the best we could.
It's really good and really appreciated. Thank you, Duncan.
No worries.
Let's just drop it down to 55. The team have done their usual beautiful job capturing the landscape with the farms and it's lovely.
It's quite nice at night they're going along this side of the route because the road that's just about to come under you get quite a lot of cars who'll race the trains as you go past, and it's just nice little features that you get in reality, like where the cars just sort of race you along the track.
Right, we're coming up on Shenstone.
Indeed.
Right, what we'll do is when we stop at Shenstone, I'll bring the map up and we can take a look at the what's included in terms of the map.
So the sounds I've seen somebody say the sounds are stolen from Stepford County Railway. They're definitely not, because I took them.
Right, almost there to Shenstone. What road are we going over here?
Oh, that's the
Come on, Duncan.
Hang on, I've got the map. I've got the route map here. I don't need to know motorway bridges.
I'll start firing general knowledge at you next.
The M6 toll road.
It's the M6 toll road. Excellent. I've used the M6 toll road.
I've only used it once. Very quiet.
That's what I love about it. You pay a bit to use it, but then nobody else is there because everybody wants to use the free road. And all of a sudden your journey goes that much smoother.
I'm getting messages from all sorts of different members of train crew that are sat home watching this as well.
Hello, all the train crew watching at home.
That's right, none of the trains are being cancelled tonight for this, it's fine. Nicely done.
This thing sounds weird. Mind you, then again, trains only sound proper to me if they either make lots of brrr noises like they're a diesel or chugging noises like they're a steam engine. This modern electric things are they sound funny. Tell us about Shenstone. What's cool about Shenstone?
Shenstone's a very very quiet station, and we don't get many passengers in the sort of.
What the heck is going on over here?
Oh, there's a boat having a ride in a cow having a ride in a boat.
I think. Oh, we saw this yesterday on the Workshop Wednesday stream. We've got cows. Presumably the police is there sorting out why there's cows getting up to no good.
The milkman must be on strike.
I don't even want to know what the milkman's doing there with the two cows either side of them. But
I think he must be on strike. He must have, brought his cows out to say, right, that's it. Not delivering any more milk.
It's COVID, isn't it? He's working from home.
Yeah.
Right, okay, enough of that. Time to get going.
I say it's a quite quiet
I love
station.
that. The little things like that. I love spotting that stuff in routes. It's when the environment team have you can tell they're having fun and they're enjoying what they do.
Yeah, there's another one later on in the route, but I'll let you spot that.
Right, next station is Blake Street, 2.4 miles.
Street. This section of the line for train crews, it's not one of the most liked because it's all quite slow and sort of not laborious, but it's just we prefer the southern section of the line, which is Birmingham to Redditch or Bromsgrove, which is just a bit quicker and a bit more I don't know, intense. I guess it's stations are a bit close together, and a lot more fun to work. It's hard to try and keep it on time on the south side of the route as well, because you've got a lot of other railway companies on the south side. Well, I say railway companies. There's one other railway company. There's our Express Hereford services that go stop at University, Bromsgrove, then on to Droitwich and round to Worcester and Hereford. But then you've also got another company that interweaves between our services as well. So we sometimes get delayed for those, but we do what we can.
That's very good. Exactly. We can all just do what we can do, isn't it, really? Do our best.
Definitely.
Loving this. Detailing the fields. Trees. See, trees are what's important.
Definitely.
Trees are underrated, except by me, apparently.
We don't like them on the main line because they end up causing slippy rails, but...
Or worse, when there's wind involved.
Yes. Sutton Coldfield's a nice place to get stranded when a tree comes down on the overhead wires. There's a nice restaurant with some yellow-coloured semicircles. I don't think we're allowed to say the proper name. Looks like an M. But, nice place for a bit of food when you get stuck out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Some aerials in the distance there. Right, okay, coming up to a drop in speed to 50, then we'll be dropping down to speed to Blake. Almost there. I'm not looking at the questions anywhere near as much as I should.
Yeah. Sorry.
So if you guys want to I said I would look at questions and then completely forgot. Yeah. Folks, fire me over questions. We'll do our best to answer them for you. Why are you overspeeding, for example, might be one of them. Hopefully one of them won't end up being, why did you miss that station? But we'll see how tonight goes. I guess one of the questions everyone wants to know is, when is it coming out? And the answer is tomorrow.
It is tomorrow.
As of when tomorrow, who knows? But call it tomorrow, and it won't be far off.
Yeah. This is Blake Street. It's actually quite funny when I went to do the reference material here. You probably want to put a bit more break in there, Matt.
So I'm busy gazing at the scenery and not paying any attention to what I'm doing, you know. This is my normal problem. It's either that or I'm reading the chat.
Almost did a Nebworth.
No, I was miles away from doing a Nebworth. You've got to be at the beginning of the station doing line speed with no possible hope of stopping. That's a Nebworth.
Now this train, some of them you can do line speed on hitting the platform. If you're in step 3, you could probably hit the end of the platform by some of the stations.
Yes.
Not all of them, but some of the stations you could probably stop by the end of the platform. Erdington probably be one of them. This is Blake. I say when I did the reference material for this station, there was an incident where the GSMR, the driver got a GSMR radio call from a signaller in Colchester. Quite funnily, nowhere near Birmingham. So he obviously was quite confused and ended up delaying the service for a bit there. But it was for obvious reasons, because the radio picked up a broadcast from the middle of nowhere.
Nice. Right, what have we got in the way of questions? Will there be a March Madness discount for this? No, I don't think so. I'll find out pricing tomorrow, but I believe it's a standard $24.99 pricing. Stop doing notch 4, it's annoying. I know, but that's how I drive. How would you like me to drive? Will you be bringing the route also to TSW? No plans for that. That doesn't mean it won't happen, it means there's no plans for it. I like this route. I really like this route. What I'm seeing of it, what I've seen of the map. It was one that we actually researched for TSW a while back as well, but it just didn't fit at the scheduling at the time. So I'm really glad it's come to TS1. So
I've been pestering them for a long time.
He has. No word of a lie.
I think since I started as a beta tester nearly 8 years ago, I've been pestering to get this route in.
Something like that, yeah.
So this is Butler's Lane, another not so disabled friendly station, and it's I think we might have plans in the future to sort of make it a bit more friendly. people wanted to see the route map.
Oh yeah, we said we'd look at the route map, didn't we? Route map. Right, so up in the north we have Litchfield, where we started, and then we work our way down, all the way. Oh, hello. Keep going. Down here we've got Aston. And then we come to this place here. I've no idea what its name is. It's nobody knows where that place is. It's and then you've got we've got Bourneville here. There's something nice at Bourneville. And then we've got Kings Norton. Passengers are wanting to go, but they can wait. King got a bit of yard action going on there. We've got a bit of a branch line down here. We'll go there in a minute. And then we go to Bromsgrove. So the main route is from Litchfield, Trent to Bromsgrove. To Redditch. Oh, so is Redditch the normal route and Bromsgrove?
Yeah,
Bromsgrove's the
new bit. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Bromsgrove's the extension. Yeah.
All right. So this is the extension, and then this is
we only opened Bromsgrove in 2018. I think the wires were up and the electricity was live just sort of the end of London Midland in 2017. But yeah, we didn't actually start operating a service there until mid 2018, I think.
Yeah. Will this route require as much power as West Coast Mainline South? I don't believe so. No, it's running perfectly happily on this machine.
It runs quite nicely on my machine too.
I don't even think I've got fast load enabled because I completely forgot. I've had so many other problems this evening getting the stream set up that I completely slipped my mind to set up fast load. So it's it should run better on your machine even. Yeah. Passenger view, certainly.
Yep, there you go. That's the from the middle carriage, which is the PTS car, which is the pantograph. I think it's either toilet or tourist standard. It's got no traction motors on this carriage, so you've got barely any traction motor noise in this coach. But, it's a nice passenger view. And we've actually got some nice passenger sort of not animations, but sort of positions where they're all seated along the carriage, and that was the modeller's doing. He's done a nice job of that. I think Matt can have a wander through the carriage in the next stop.
Yeah, we'll have a look at that at the next stop. Yeah, absolutely.
So coming up to Four Oaks now as well, which is one of our terminus stations for some of the services on the Cross City. We'll have quite a few of the Redditches go to Four Oaks. Pretty much all of them at the moment go to Four Oaks. They terminate in the bay platform, which is on the left-hand side. And we sit there for a few minutes, go back. Train crew usually spend, as a senior conductor or train guard, you spend about 4 or 5 hours on the route in the evenings or throughout the day. I do permanent late shift, so I don't get to see the morning. But yeah, we spend a few hours on the Cross City going either up and down to certain stations. I remember once when I started, it used to do something like a Longbridge, Four Oaks, Redditch, Litchfield before you got off the train back at Birmingham again. But now it's
what's going on here?
He's got his feet on the seats. What's he doing?
We need a guard to come here and sort this person out. Where's a guard when you need one? If only we had a guard, eh, folks?
Nigel, yes, Northfield is on the route, as are all the other stations on the south of Birmingham towards Redditch and Bromsgrove.
Time to go, yeah. It is Sun Coalfield.
Yeah.
I'm sure I recognise that chap.
I recognise that fella.
I recognise him too. I think everybody recognises him from Great Western. Right, okay. I've just opened the doors again.
Oh dear. There must be somebody running down to catch the train.
Yeah, that's what it is. What we'll do is we'll park it here, and we'll watch the train depart. We'll park it just here, I think. As soon as the doors close. We'll do passenger view again in a minute, Ned's trains. Right.
this is no fun. I'm now getting messages of train crew now screen grabbing me.
Presumably they're screen grabbing you in odd, positions.
Yeah.
Nice. Do more of that, folks. Do more of that. Send me copies.
That's going to be up in the mess room later on this week, I'd imagine. I showed the final preview pictures that came up. I think when they first posted them a couple of days ago in the mess room, and some of the drivers that I'd asked to do weird, obscure things for me, to get certain sounds. They were like,
I heard some of those
so
stories
realistic.
and heard some of the sounds. Thank you very much for all your help, folks. If you helped with any way with it, I really appreciate everything you've done, including some of the very strange things that I know Duncan asked you to do. It was entertaining, if not useful. Right, coming up on Sutton Coldfield. Let's get back outside. Oh, actually, someone said they wanted more passenger view action. There you go, more passenger view action, just for one seat. Right, let's go back outside so we can actually see the route. Apparently I'm overspeeding. Badly. Stop flying a drone outside.
You did have a warning board to tell you to drop down.
You're assuming I paid any attention to that. AWS alarm goes off, I just smash the Q key and go, well, what was that all about?
This is Sutton Coldfield, one of the very nice stations on the network. Nice. It used to have 2 canopies, but unfortunately, a very, very, very long time ago, a steam locomotive came a bit too fast down the incline and fell off the track here and took the canopy out.
Ow!
Yeah, and that was around the time they introduced speedometers on trains.
Horrifying to think of times where there weren't speedometers on trains.
Oh yes. Right, still old steam locomotives. I think the train crew just look down at the track and just count the sleepers as they go past. If it's going, they can't count them anymore. They're going too fast.
That sounds good.
on some of the old heritage railways, I think they still do that. So one of the first stations I surveyed was Sutton Coldfield. It's got quite a few little intricate bits, so you can actually go out the little exit there and look round.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool. Oh, hello. Right, doors are closed. Time to go for Wild Green.
Green.
.35 limits.
Yeah. Nice bit of track this is in reality. There's a section of jointed track just on that bend there. So it's always nice when you get decent acceleration out because it sounds very old-fashioned.
Nice bit of clickety-clack.
Yeah.
Right, up to 60. Go and take some shots from a distance. Let's do a bridge passing shot, shall we? Something like that.
Cool. Nice.
Oh, leaves. Right. Right, what we've got coming up? Wild Green. Things about to get a bit more busier on the stops.
Yeah. So we've got 3 stations very closely together. In reality, if you stand on the platform at Wild Green, you can almost see Chester Road on the very very end of the platform. It's well, if it was a straight platform, straight bit of track, you could see all 3 stations because they're that close together. Yeah.
It's a bit like Gillingham, Chatham and Rochester, really.
Yeah, I'd say so. It's a bit
pretty much in each other's pockets.
Yeah.
Why does it appear the AE323s look different? Do they look different?
No.
I'm not aware of them looking different. They're usually the same model. We'll have a look next time one comes along.
I think Nick's just sent a message. How much do you have to learn as a guard about trains and routes, etc.? That's a good question. Trains, you have to learn nowhere near as much as a driver would. I take a bit more interest. I try to learn a bit more than I need to, but it's always good if things go wrong that you can help out if needs be. But guards have to learn how the doors work, so they can basically reset them in an area of if it fails or things like that. And you also have to learn each different station if there's a signal at the end of the platform, so you don't try to send the driver away with a red signal. Even though it's both shared responsibility, but it's important because the driver could be having a bad day by accident and being autopilot by accident as well.
Well, you're there to help each other, aren't you? You're a team.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we have to learn how the trains work in some ways to fix certain faults. We also have to know where the disabled ramps are and where we can actually let disabled passengers on and off. And how to fix issues like broken toilets, things like that. So, and how to check tickets.
We don't speak of toilets in Train Sim.
We don't speak of toilets.
We do not speak of toilets in Train Sim.
Chester Road. In regards to routes, same question. We have to know pretty much every single junction on the route and every single tunnel and some viaducts, depending on how big they are, and where all the stations are as well. Basically, if the train gets stuck in the middle of nowhere or the driver has an accident and we're the only person left on the train, we have to be able to contact the signaller and basically arrange for emergency services and that sort of thing. And we can also contact the signaller ourselves if we see anything behind the train. Like regular one for us is if we're at the back of the train on a 3-car, for example, like this one, you see somebody crossing the track. It's like, oh, right, I've got to ring the signaller now. There's somebody crossing the track. Yeah, don't trespass on the railway, kids. It's not cool.
No, don't. It's not a joke. It's not even a joking matter. Get off the railways. No. Enjoy them from afar.
Yeah.
Or enjoy them virtually. There you go.
Yeah. Buy more Train Simulator products.
Checks in the post, Duncan. Right, okay. Stop putting it into neutral. Doors are closed. Erdington.
The trainee driver messaging me at the moment saying your braking's nowhere near the professional driving policy.
No, not at all. It's representative of the amount of hours of professional training I've had. I'm stopping at stations and not missing them. This is a major success.
That's the main bit, yeah.
At some point we should get a driver on to do some driver training for everybody.
Yeah, that'd be cool. No, a couple of the drivers are into the Train Sim stuff, so might be able to arrange that at some point.
Let's see if we can arrange something like that. That'll be fun. Oops.
This is one of the longest stations, so you'd probably be right stopping it in the platform here. Or maybe not, actually. No.
This is how they do it in real life, isn't it? One coach in the platform, that's a win. I'm taking it.
You'd get taken off for tea and biscuits there, Matt.
You know what? I'd have got bored of tea and biscuits if that happened to me every time. We won't talk about Nebworth. It's a busy old place around here.
Old B23, Erdington.
Oh, is there an AI train?
Oh, yeah.
What's different about the AI trains, then?
I don't think there is. They look the same to me.
Shouldn't be. It's usually the same model.
Yeah, it is.
Looks the same to me. Right. Okay. Let's try not to miss the next station. Gravelly Hill.
Gravelly Hill.
Gravelly Hill. Oh, yes, Gravelly Hill. See, there's 2 L's there. I'm sure the last time I looked at this, there was only 1. Tell us about Gravelly Hill. You were telling me about this the other day.
I was, yeah. A manager, one of the managing directors at the time, London Midland, came with me for a back to the tracks event where the managers choose certain people to go with and experience what it's like on the front line in different ways. And he decided, he asked me if he could make announcements on the train, and I said yes. I wasn't going to say no to somebody quite high up in the company, and he was making all sorts of different announcements and giving passengers on my commuter train facts about the different stations. One of them was Gravelly Hill, which I hadn't got a clue about, which was to do with the fact that when they all the quarries mined out all the I think it was stone for the Birmingham area. This is one of the deposits where they left them, and they called the place Gravelly Hill because it's just made of gravel.
There you go. History. What is the train period frequency on this? What is the frequency of trains on this line? Is it
so
half hourly, every 10 minutes?
Every 10 minutes it was up until about April, May last year. But yeah, it's dropped down to about 3 trains an hour now, so once every 20 minutes or so. Sometimes more frequent, sometimes less frequent. But yeah, it's currently we're running all 6 cars, apart from the very late evenings where they're just 3-carriage trains. But yeah, it's a very, very intense service, but pretty virus times.
So is it less than normal because of the pandemic? Is it reduced service?
We've got less trains running about because that basically means that we can have longer trains to mean that people can socially distance better. It's just with the 6-carriage trains in the middle of the day, previously with a 10-minute service, you're basically running fresh air about all day. There's not really much point in spending money operating train services when there's barely any passengers on them.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Yep. Next station's Aston. We go past the Spaghetti Junction.
Yes, Aston, GWR King Class. I can't work out what you're looking for, Harrison Smith. Do you want me external or do you want me internal? I'll stay internal for a minute. Must admit, I normally try and do external on these streams because when I'm driving it myself, my natural is to stay in the cab. I'm driving a train, not flying a drone. But then everyone complains that I'm not showing the route. What am I hiding? So can't win.
You're not doing very well here on the career points, are you, Matt?
Is this Spaghetti Junction then?
This is Spaghetti Junction. Yeah. It's an interweave of railway and roads and.
So now I've got to go external and have a look. Whee! Oh my word.
Yeah.
All the roads.
All the roads.
Is there a DSD DVD on the Class 323? There is indeed.
There is.
It's the E key to cancel that. And you can see down here.
Riggers 6805. No, Soho's not on the route on this. Soho Depot's not on the route. It's just a bit too far out of Birmingham. Harry's trains, yeah, there is a guard's buzzer. I'm sure Matt will show you that in the next station if he stays in the cab when the door's shut. Patrick James. I do like my job as a train guard. It's an interesting job. It has its ups and its downs, like most jobs, but yeah, it's a nice job. I'd prefer to be at the front driving trains, but I come home to do that. It's fine. I'm not the only one either. We've got quite a few drivers and guards who play Train Simulator. A few driver managers as well, actually.
It's amazing. As I talk to more and more people, this isn't. Hang on, that's not a 323. What's that? 350.
That's 350.
Yeah, nice. Is that drivable in this pack, or is that just AI?
It is drivable, yes.
Excellent. Yeah, that's one of the things that I found a lot is the number of people that are in the rail industry that then they drive all day or they guard all day or whatever their job is, and they come home and do it again.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm going to ask you the same question I ask other people in the industry. Then,
Go on then.
Why? Why do you
Why?
you work all day on the railways, and then you come home and you do more railways? See, to most people, going to work all day and then coming home and doing it again, it's just not fun. You don't even get paid for it when you're at home working on it. So, why? I mean, I think I know, but I want to hear it from you.
Maybe it's because we don't do proper work on the railway.
Oh,
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Everyone just got upset at Duncan.
No, it is a stressful job on the railway. It's one of those things where, in the daytime you've got to deal with real world situations, and you've got to be on your guard all day, every day, and something you've got to be ready for it in case anything goes wrong. And at home you can just sort of sit and relax and drive different routes. I mean, I like some of the French stuff. I'm a big fan of French railways, and it's nice to learn different signalling systems, and just the simulation world gets you to places you can't go, especially at the moment. It's great to be able to travel all over the world and drive different trains, and
that's the kind of the gist of what I get from most people when I ask them that question, or when I don't even ask it and they just tell me, is essentially it's stress free. At this point you can enjoy all of the fun bits without all of the stress bits. You can stop it anytime you like, or if something goes wrong you just press restart. It's just completely stress. You can just enjoy it. Because a lot of people who work on the railways do enjoy the railways, but you're also, you're dealing with real people's lives there, so you've got to always keep that in. That's a really crucial part of what's going on. Here you don't. Pixels, and pixels don't care, frankly. It just doesn't matter.
Exactly.
So, but the other element of it is also you can do things that you can't do normally. Whether that's things you shouldn't do. Occasionally people like to crash trains in the game. It's a weird thing, but some people like it. Or driving a bit too fast or something. But other people, a lot of people particularly, it's driving trains they can't drive normally, going to places they can't go normally. As you say, learning the French signalling systems. And it's also, I guess, because in doing so you connect with people who might, like real train operators actually in the French networks as well. So you learn more about from first hand as well. I know when we did the French route, we spoke to maintenance engineers and to drivers who work on the French trains, and you learn so much, about a different domain. And trains are not just trains are trains, is it? It's if you get used to driving on the Cross City Line, or you are a driver on the Cross City Line, you've got very little experience with what it'll be like driving a TGV in France. They're all different, which is really cool.
So we're just coming across Proof House Junction here. Proof House Junction is named as such because of the old gun barrel proof house that's on the left-hand side down underneath the railway there. That's where they used to test all the munitions for the very, very, very old World War. I think it was it World? Long time ago.
World War Thingamabob. Crucible says, is that the rotunda on the horizon? It looks round.
It is. It is the rotunda.
Right, coming into Birmingham New Street.
Yep, we're just about to pass underneath Birmingham Moor Street Station.
See, whenever I see a sign like that, I think, why are you authorising me to 120 kilometres an hour?
Just platform number 12.
Platform 12. See, that's just the other way of doing it. And I'm so used to driving German add-ons now that when I see add-ons from a different territory, it just confuses me. You lose that instinct memory, if you like, because you...
Yeah. So coming into Birmingham New Street now, slowest section on the route, 10 mile an hour all the way through. Interesting fact, from I think it's next week or the week after, they're upping the line speed only for departures of trains out of Birmingham New Street, so that when the front of the train gets to the first signal, the train will be able to speed up to 15 mile an hour, and that's just to get trains out of the station a little bit quicker. There won't be any signage up to dictate that, but it would be a local instruction for Birmingham New Street train crew, and Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how it works out, because they can't increase the line speed going into the station because of how the train protection and warning system works, because basically they need to upgrade it all and add automatic warning system, etc. And for 12 platforms and triple the amount, at least quadruple the amount of signals, it's not really money viable when they can just stick a bit of a notice in the weekly operating notice or the periodical operating notice and say, right, this is what you do now. Oh, this is interesting. Are we coupling up? We are.
Well, I hope so. I'm guessing this is 12A though.
This is 12.
Your dad is a guard for Indian Railways. Nice one, Nonny. Martin, you're how excited for the Arosa stream tomorrow? Yes, Jamie is going to be demonstrating the Arosa tomorrow on TSW. And then Saturday, I'm going to be demonstrating the Litchfield on TSW. So this is just 3 epic days, to be honest. Yeah. I'm enjoying this, though. This is the Cross City Line. In order to be ready for rush hour, you now have to couple to the unit in front, as this has extra capacity. As this extra capacity will be needed when the train returns north from Bromsgrove. Request permission to pass the signal and proceed.
There we go.
Got our call-ons.
Yep. So nice and slowly as we couple up to the other unit. Don't want any more passengers on board falling over.
Get back behind the yellow line, sir.
Have I been a guard on the line to Shrewsbury? I have, but not for this company. I work as a before the old Corona. I worked as a part-time job for another company called Vintage Trains. You might want to turn your headlights off, Matt. They were still on in the other cab. I worked for another company called Vintage Trains as a part-time train guard, so I got to operate some of their older slam door trains, which is completely different to working a train with buttons to open and shut your doors. Actually just slamming the door and hoping everything's shut is completely different method of working to working a train with sliding electrical doors. It's nice though. The route to Shrewsbury's nice. It's I signed quite a lot of routes out of Birmingham as a guard for West Midlands Railway, which is the Cross City Line. I signed the whole route of that. Rugeley, Northampton, Liverpool. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, signed quite a few other routes with Vintage Trains as well, but I think that's all lapsed now. The competency on that doesn't last very long. Yes, I do work on the Severn Valley as well. Somebody else has just asked that.
What do you do on the Severn Valley?
I'm a second man on the Severn Valley, so that's a completely different role. I get to go backwards all day on as a guard on my main job, and then when I'm at Severn Valley, I'm a second man as well as a shunter. So I sit at the front with the driver and occasionally get to drive the trains, which is a nice change. It's just I'm a jack of all trades, as they say.
Train enthusiast.
Yeah, that one. Ned's Trains, yes, I was on all the stations as well. That was my first ever live bit of camera work. But I was telling people about that. Some of the northern trains and some of the London Underground trains have got sort of like yellow and black sort of zigzags on the doors, and that's just a little bit of a psychological trick to basically stop you putting your hand in the door as the train doors are shutting, which is a pet hate of every single member of train crew. We want to go, don't stop us from going.
Yeah, get out the doors. My left, will the route be coming to TSW2? There are no plans to bring this to TSW2, but that might change in the future. But no, it's not on the roadmap. So the roadmap is the plans for TSW2. So it's not on the roadmap. It's not on the plans. Right. So we're proceeding out of Birmingham New Street now.
Yeah. So now we've coupled up to another unit. You need to do, when we get up to 30 mile an hour, you need to do what's known as a running brake test, because we've changed our formation. So we'll get up to 30 and then do a step 1 brake down to about 20 and then back up to 30 again, 4 or 5 ways.
Having got up to 30, what if the brakes don't work?
Then you put it into emergency and hope you stop. You're going uphill, so in theory, if the brakes didn't work at all, you'd
gravity would stop you, and then we would be doomed flying into Birmingham.
Be doomed,
All right, come up to 30, and what, step 3 or just any step?
Just step 1. Step 1's fine. Drop yourself down. So it also gives you an idea of how well your unit is capable of braking.
Yeah, it's a good reminder of your braking capability. Yeah. You'd have been used to driving a 3 car, which is going to stop to a different degree than I guess a 6 car would.
Yeah, you'd think they wouldn't. They'd be exactly the same, but it doesn't always work like that.
No. Well, not only that. Are these EP or are they just air?
They're dynamic regenerative brakes. So what will happen is, in reality, when you put the brake into a different step of brake, the train actually checks with the overhead electric wires if it can receive regenerative braking force, and when it does that, it basically puts a bit of air in and then drops it off again, and then you use dynamic. Well, I keep calling it dynamic brake. It's regenerative brake. And basically that helps you slow down a lot quicker. But you'll also find in the wet that the regenerative brakes don't work because they try to slow the wheel down too much, and it ends up starting to spin back on itself and not spin, slow down a lot too quickly, way too quickly. Now, are we in the platform here, Max? You've stopped well short of the 6 car marker.
I have, but the green bar mark is all the way back there. So.
Oh, I can't see that.
That's fine.
Oh.
I'm allowing
the guarder to give you 6 on the buzzer there. Come on, draw up.
Do multiple units have better acceleration when running in multi, or no difference? I think that what Duncan's saying is that there is difference. It just might not, It's also going to pair on the actual units themselves are going to behave differently, aren't they? It's more the individual characteristics of a unit might be different.
Definitely. Because each carriage, only the driving carriages have got motors on them. So you might find that the unit you've just coupled up to has one carriage where the motors are isolated for a fault or whatever reason. That's quite interesting to hear actually, because people expect the warping noise as the train starts, and every now and again you just get it where it's like, oh, it's silent. What's going on? And that's incredibly frustrating for drivers. And I went on a train on the way home because I live on this line. And I went on a train home a couple of weeks ago, and we left Birmingham, and it was completely silent in my carriage, and I was like, "This is strange." And went up to the driver. I just let him know, just said, "Oh, just so you know, the back carriage has got no motors." And he was like, "Oh, nice one. I'll try and do a reset on it." And but problem with the train, but it was incredibly slow with just one carriage pulling away out of 5 ways.
I can imagine. Right, University Birmingham.
Yeah, it's one of the most difficult. Well, there's a couple of stations on this route that are difficult to.
I could have swore I pressed the H. Oh, it didn't. It unbounced. Unbounced. That's a thing.
So University, Barnet Green, and Sutton Coldfield are interesting stations for us as train crew because they're really, really tight corners on the way down to Redditch, especially for Barnet Green. So in one direction, we have to walk out quite far to check the whole train is safe to depart. Make sure nothing's trapped in the doors. And it's University is one of our busiest stations, apart from Birmingham New Street. There's all the university students, the hospitals there as well. And it's one of the busiest stations we've got. It's currently being upgraded at the moment. They're making it a lot more shiny and bright and new. It's a funny story along. It wasn't this section of car. We've passed it now. The tunnel we just went through, I once fell in the canal there as a train went past. I got a bit too distracted as a train went past.
Oh, that's funny.
Very, very long time ago.
I shouldn't laugh, but I'm going to.
Oh yeah, it's fine. I laughed at myself after I'd
dried off and
pulled my bike out. Julie Caddy Cat. My favourite station. That's a good one. I don't know, really. I don't know. 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 I don't
I've got a favourite station, but it's mostly because there's chocolate nearby. To be fair.
Well, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, yeah. I said Bourneville is a high contender. It's definitely nice to come in there in the evenings when they're making certain chocolates in the chocolate factory, and you can smell it across the cab. It's nice to get that.
University Birmingham. Love it. Got canal running up and down here with the walkway.
Dean, they're in testing at the moment, so there's the Class 196s are in testing at the moment. So they're just doing their what's known as mileage accumulation runs. So they'll basically have to do so many fault-free miles before they get accepted onto the network. The same for the Class 730s. They will be taking over the 323s eventually. But they're also running mileage accumulation runs. Once they've all passed all the tests that need to test, then they'll start training train crew on them, and we'll see how they progress, how they fare up to the 323. I certainly will miss them when they go. They're very nice units to work.
On our way to Selly Oak now.
Indeed.
Certainly plenty of traffic coming in the other direction on this scenario.
Yeah.
It's quite a fun unit to drive, this one as well. Actually, it's quite responsive without feeling like I'm driving a Ferrari.
Mm.
Which of course it isn't in any way.
I think it's 0 to. I did write it down somewhere. Somebody gave me all the different. One of the drivers gave me all the different speeds of accelerating. Let me just find it.
I keep trying to stop at the 3 markers, and
now
I'm getting good at stopping at the 3 markers, and I've got a 6-car train.
So yeah, the acceleration speeds close on. These are close on accurate. There's minor differences between each unit, but 0 to 10 mile an hour is about 5.3 seconds. 10 to 20 is another 5 seconds. 20 to 30 is about 6, and 30 to 40 is about 8, and then 40 to 50 is about 10. So the sort of 0 to 30, 0 to 50 speeds. 0 to 50 speeds about 35 seconds. So it's quite a quick unit accelerating compared to some of the other units about on the network. 0 to 90 is about 1 minute 54. It's about 114 seconds. It's still a fairly quick unit for what it is. Big commuter train.
There's a few people joined since we started the stream. So let me reintroduce Duncan, who is below me down here on the stream, who is joining me. Just quickly reintroduce yourself, Duncan, for people who have joined since the start.
I'm Duncan. I'm a train guard or senior conductor. The rule book says train guard, so I'll keep going back to that. For what is now West Midlands Railway, or West Midlands Trains. I used to be London Midland Train Guard as well, back in 2015 when I started. And yeah, it's an enjoyable job, and I've been helping out with the route ever since its conception back in. When did we actually start talking about it? I started gathering reference material for the route itself last April, May, sort of just after the lockdown sort of had a split, and I sort of got out and managed to get around every single station. And the train itself, I've been doing reference material for that pretty much since I started in the company in 2015, because I've been pestering Matt since when I started as a beta tester from 2013 to get the route in the training. So yeah, we've been.
So Duncan is one of the beta team, one of the members of the beta team, the elusive beta team that we talk about every now and again. But this is so Duncan is one of the members of the beta team, and train enthusiast, works on the railways, and this is his local line, the line he works on, and he's been really keen to see it in the game, and actually provided a ton of help for the team. We're all very grateful for the help, and also for your colleagues as well have helped you as well.
Yeah, a lot of the colleagues have helped us, yeah.
Which has been really, really great, and arriving at the best station on the planet now, unless you're on a diet, in which case it's just not a good place to be.
So right, at this station you've got to stop your cab right next to the bridge. That's how tight the platform is. Shane, yeah, I do remember when they did the international shuttles. They were really nice to work on the international shuttles because that was the only time before the Bromsgrove got introduced where we could actually get the units up to 90 mile an hour. So it was a very nice little trip to international. Usually you get 5 international shuttles on the bounce sort of thing, and you'd it's quite good because we've got 20 minutes to sit there, and you could go and get some food if you were hungry, or see about all the different international travellers going off on their travels. Cameron, how do I feel about the 323s being replaced? Oh, I'll be sad when they go. It'll be a very sad day when the 323s leave the West Midlands. They'll be going to Northern, so hopefully they'll have a bit more of an extended life up there. But yeah, it'll be a very sad day when they go. So, Funky DCZ, what's the difference between a conductor and a senior conductor? I think it's just a name. If you're a conductor in the UK and you basically do anything to do with the doors, the rule book says you're a train guard. At the end of the day, you do the same thing. It's just a name that companies sort of create to, I don't know, make people sound more important.
Every now and again, I am scoring positive points, Rob. Doesn't happen very often, but. Right, Kings Norton. Oh, hello. What's this going on? Tell us about this. What's this all about?
Oh, that's another little Easter egg, that is. You spotted it. So, yeah, it's I don't know what the name of the boat actually is, but one of the route builders, good friend of mine, put that in just as a little joke. I mentioned it to him. I was like, "Oh, we should keep that. That's a cool little feature," because it would never get there in real life, but it was just quite a cool little. Somebody it could have been somebody's back garden. Somebody could have been building it, just to run it up and down the 2 bridges.
Where is the wheel slip? Well, it's dry in the day, Carlos.
It's dry in the day.
And to be honest, modern multiple units don't do tons of wheel slip.
Oh, these do.
These do they? Okay.
These are terrible for wheel slip. Only in the wet. Only in the wet.
Right, coming over to Kings Norton, crossing into the correct track.
Horizon. I've considered working with freight in the past, but I think the benefits of being on a passenger service are much more interesting than the freight. I mean, there's not much. You're out in all weathers in the freight area, and you don't really get any chance to sort of any respite if it starts raining, snowing, whatever. You're just out in all weathers. But no, I like the perks of being a member of train crew on the passenger side, and I think I'd stay there. Do I know why the middle platforms aren't used at Kings Norton? I don't know why. Well, I know why they're not used because they're disused. But
there's a funny one.
But yeah, they closed a very long time ago. I think they've. It was basically for when the Camp Hill line.
That's why.
Was
See, there's a door here. You can't get through it. That's why it's not used. They should open the door. Oh, okay.
There's another door.
Doors everywhere. Seems to be
the line
a
that's
thing.
going off to the right-hand side there is the Camp Hill line, and that goes round the back of Birmingham towards Lawley Street. Yeah. Kings Norton. It's a nice chip shop there.
Good. Or is it time to go?
It is. Northfield. So yeah, the 2 stations here in Northfield, I think they were originally 4 when the Camp Hill line was open. Back to somebody's question earlier.
Right, 70 limit, Northfield, 1.3 miles.
How many people worked on the route? Oh, I don't know actually. Quite a lot of people have worked on this route.
Overall, there's been quite a few. In fact, there's been some contractors that have worked on it as well. So some people from the community that we work with have helped with bits and pieces of the route as well. So there's been there's been a lot of people involved. I don't know the individual how many people exactly, because this is not a project I've been working on, but I know it's a good thing. Plus the usual core team from Train Sim have been busy on the project.
Shane, that's one of the West Midlands plans to do the Combe route eventually. They're trying to open some of the stations up at the moment, so I think they will eventually use them.
Can you sound the horn? Oh, it's Eldest Kerred. Welcome, Eldest.
One of the drivers just said, "Trust you to know where the good food outlets are." Yeah, you got to know where you can go get food if you get stranded somewhere. Got to do your local area surveillance.
A lot of the stations have got a different look to them as well. It's not like it's cookie cutter stations throughout the route either.
A lot of the stations on on the opposite platform you've got there have the sort of like a upside down U-shaped canopy, and that's sort of like a feature of most of the route. It's another disused bit of platform there in the middle. And those little spikes there have got basically some like little bits of artwork on the top of them. I mean, there was too much detail in such a small space of the things for the model to be able to do that, and they've been quite worn away recently. Basically, there's some things like an acorn on the top of one, but being about that big, it doesn't really translate well in the game. So we just left them as spokes.
You really feel like you can walk around and explore the stations. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Right, Longbridge Platform 2 is next.
Mm-hmm. Interesting fact about Northfield and Kings Norton is because the platforms in the middle are still disused, you still have just platforms 1 and platforms 4. And this is the only section of the railway, I think, in the UK where the slow lines are electrified but the fast lines aren't. So only electric trains can use the slow lines. So if there was ever an incident where the signaller sent the train the wrong way, it'd be, your driver's got to make sure he's on the ball so he doesn't end up running out of power. having to call a rescue unit to come and get him or her.
Right.
Starlife Studios? No, that doesn't happen. That's it's just one of those things where it could happen, but I don't think it ever has happened where a train's got stuck on the fast lines. But yeah, if a diesel train does get stuck, they can use the slow lines, which are electrified as well. So. So your S board's just coming up on the left, just before the canopy, so it's not at the end of the platform. There it is.
That's just there to trip me up, isn't it?
What does that say on that thing down there? I think there's quite a few signals like that, actually. Electric trains, no access to the down goods. That's right. So basically, in theory, if this is one of the sections where they did plan a bit in advance if there was an incident, where you could take the train a bit far into the goods line, to get it out of the way, basically. But you can go halfway down this line here before the overhead wires stop. But all the trains join onto the fast here because it only goes halfway with the electricity. So.
Next up will be Bromsgrove and the end of the shift. Panicked there, saw a red light, but to the right of me. Too many German routes. My instincts now are all in the wrong place.
Chief Jack, yeah, we've got the Licky Incline. We're just about to go down there now. Just about to go down the steepest mainline gradient in the UK. Open her up, Matt. Up to 90.
Oh yeah.
Let's go.
I was waiting for that, and then I started looking at chat. Matt wants a pink Class 323. Yeah. Well, why? Who wouldn't want a pink Class 323? Honestly, other than everybody except me. London Pinkland. There you go. So this is the Cross City Line. It is coming out tomorrow, folks. I don't have an exact time for you tomorrow, but keep an eye out in the usual places. It will be announced when it's out. It'll be on Steam. It's PC only because this is Train Simulator. Yeah, enjoy. We're going to do another quick drive after this. We've got another 15 minutes before the session ends, so we'll be able to show you the bit up from Redditch.
Redditch to Barnt Green, I think. Would be
Redditch to Barnt Green, yeah. and then we'll stop there. So at least you'll have seen the whole line.
Yeah.
That sounds a bit shed.
Yeah. It's got some timber on the slow lines, which again, that one's not electrified. That line's just for freight trains, or if there's an incident where you need diesel train to go around the back out the way. So in reality, there's a 70-mile-an-hour temporary speed restriction coming up, going in this direction towards Bromsgrove. It's been there for a few months after the 323 started going down to Bromsgrove, because the 323s are about quite a bit lighter than the other trains that operate on this line as passenger service, which are the Voyagers and the Class 170s, 153s. So when going over this next set of points here, which is Barnt Green, I mean, you'll see it here. It's quite rough as you go over it, and it's been put in quite accurately how rough it is at 90 mile an hour, and they basically had to put in a temporary speed restriction because the point work, and it's been there for quite a long time. It was 50 for a long time, which was very painful going this way, because there's quite a lot of services that do run express from Longmish to Bromsgrove, and it was quite painful at 50 mile an hour. It's a bit more bearable at 70 now, but going back the opposite way, you do 90 all the way through, which is a nice variety. It's good as well to see how fast the drivers can get up the Licky Incline, because it's such a steep gradient.
Oh, here we go. The cliff arrives.
The cliff arrives. And when you get to at the end of the goods loop, if you zoom in a bit, you'll see the glorious view we get as train crew, where you see the train just dip away. There's the little the loco sidings there for when the trains that bank. There's special because the gradient's so steep. Some of the freight trains have to be banked up the Licky Incline, so they have a locomotive at the front and a locomotive at the back. And basically that little area you just passed there is where those locomotives sit out of the way once they've pushed a train up the hill, and they sit there and wait for their next section to go back down to Bromsgrove to push another one back up, or they go back to their depot in Saltley or Bescott.
Is that
so if you're
approach because of the 40 at the bottom and being diverted or something?
Yeah, so basically you get a flashing yellows here to go into platform.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, to go into platform 3 at Bromsgrove. You
Don't say yeehaw just yet, basically.
You probably want to be doing about 60 mile an hour in step 1 when you get to that next signal, when you should get to, if you stay in step 1 from that signal at 60, you should get down to about 40 just as you get to the crossover. I tried that earlier just to make sure. Yes, Fizbin, it would be a very bad time here if your brakes failed, but they factor into that as best they can for signalling irregularities. Yeah, you should be able to stay in step 1 now all the way down to the 40.
Have you noticed the sign below the buzzer code sign in the cab?
Yeah.
I have no idea what that means. I can't read that. Don't be silly. I know exactly what my stopping patterns are. Just you're calling my competence into question.
One of the drivers had just said you can do. One of the drivers is on the comments. He just said you can do 80 and step 2 at the signal at the bottom before you hit the 40. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah. Break down because you've got a red signal at the end of the platform. Don't want to be.
This is a fun one to overshoot. Oh, a big BR sign on the top there. That's good.
Yeah. Brand new station with a BR sign as well. It's nice. All the way to the end of the platform.
I'll try not to hit the P45 light.
There you go. Sorted. Should you ever wander around Bromsgrove just quickly before we swap over to Redditch?
Mm-hmm.
There's a great station here when you used to be able to go through on the HST sets with the slight drop-down windows because you could always just stick your head out. Yeah. There you go.
Nice.
That completed it. Awesome.
Scenario not failed, other than
Not
the minus
failed, yeah.
other than the minus 5,000 score, but that's fine. Right, let's go in a quick drive, and here's one I made earlier. It's a Redditch to Birmingham New Street path. We're not going to make it there before our time is up, but we'll at least get the bit of the line that we haven't done so far. What GPU do I have? I have got a RTX 2080 Super. Right, okay, so let us key in, back on, do that, put the lights on, and put the lights on. Cool.
Get the train going and we'll have a quick look outside of Redditch. There we are. It's always just disappointing that shopping centre there is never open when you're on late. There's nothing to eat. If you get stuck there.
This looks very Purple Hotel.
It does a bit, yeah. We can't make every asset.
I have no idea what's supposed to be there. It looks all right there.
It's a massive shopping centre.
Oh, that's a shopping centre. Okay.
Yeah. It looks about the same sort of shape in reality. Actually, it's not a bad representation.
No, just saying.
Yeah.
Containers. Awesome colour.
Daniel Rotherham, yes, the destination is selectable on the 323. If Matt, when he starts driving, can press F7 and F8 or whichever one to have a look. Hold them down for a sec. You should get them to change. There you go. You've got all of the different destinations that are on the one inside the cab. So you can see which ones are inside the cab on the right-hand side.
Oh, is this?
That's the board there that shows you what you've got. And it's a bit more high quality than what it's streaming at, but it's good. Should we get a move on? Because we haven't got long to get to Barnt Green.
We'll remain not in service for this journey.
Yeah. I might want to go back into step 3 again, just in case. Yeah.
Better?
Yeah.
Right, so we're off back out from Redditch. We'll be joining the main. I'll bring the map up in a minute just so that you can get context of where we are once I've finished, breaking the speed limit. So we are here down at Redditch, and then we are going to drive back up to Barnt Green up here. and we'll probably finish at Barnt Green. In fact, we will definitely finish at Barnt Green.
Yeah.
What's your favourite part of the dev process? You've been involved with this route pretty much from start to finish, haven't you? So,
yeah.
What's your favourite part of the dev process?
I think my favourite part is in the last sort of week or two. You see it going. Well, I say week or two. It's been a lot longer than that. But I got access to the track a long time before the rest of the beta testers did, just so I could run it through the fine tooth comb and find everything I could, basically as an alpha build, just to make sure everything was accurate, because there was a few bits I wanted changed and a few bits sadly couldn't get changed, but we fixed what we could, and it looks bang on now. It looks really good. But yeah, the seeing it come together from a barren landscape with barely any terrain forming and scenery and everything to what it is now, it's just watching it just go from nothing to everything. It's just
that's
amazing.
The same thing for me actually. Is whenever when I see the stuff going on with Train Sim World and previously with TS1 when I worked with TS1, is the way that the team get the content down and create something out of nothing is just incredible. For someone who I have no artistic skill whatsoever, if you asked me to do a self-portrait, even my box and stick figure probably wouldn't be very good, whereas and so I have nothing but awe, when I see these routes being created out of nothing. It really is incredible. I've done a little bit of stuff with 3D modelling, so I kind of understand enough to know that it's not easy, especially because they're not making any of this stuff with scaled drawings or anything like that. It's just purely they see pictures and they recreate stuff, and it's seeing that all come together is absolutely my favourite.
Yeah. And that's been the thing for the model of the train as well. Is he'd be sending me pictures pretty much daily of the different stages of the model as it came together, and I'd point out different things, or I'd be working a train, and when I had the time available, when not dealing with safety critical stuff, I'd be getting photographs for him. There was this, I think there was some issues last week with the front end not looking quite right, and we said this has really got to look right. We've got to get the front looking perfect, because it's so noticeable. How sort of set back into the train, how squished it is. I think we've got it almost 99% spot on now. It's absolutely great. The coupler's perfect as well. The tight lock coupler, bogies are perfect. The Mark, the modelers, and I think Ricardo as well, the other chap, have been an absolutely great job of it. Oh, and Wagons as well. They've done the cab. That's the other people. They've absolutely done a great job of the train itself. I think they've really managed to capture it. So I think it's going to be enjoyed. I think because we've seen it now go from Microsoft Train Sim BVE to Train Sim 1, and hopefully it'll be a well-loved route for many years to come. So.
I hope so. It's good. It's good fun to drive. I mean, I'm enjoying the route. I'm going to try and do some more with it now. It's and get used to more of the route. And certainly, what I'm looking forward to, not dropping, but a small hint here, folks, is lots of workshop scenarios. Let's get some great workshop scenarios for the route created, and try and get them onto Workshop Wednesday. When's the due date release? It is tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow. Daniel Rotherham, I was the one who recorded all the sounds for this. There's a few sounds that haven't been used or have been swapped out for various reasons, due to my quality or other reasons. But I didn't implement them. The teams to implement them. They've done the best with what they had, and honestly, they've done a really good job of trying to get the sounds doing really well. I mean, every train has its issues with regardless of what happens. But I think it sounds really nice. It's one of them.
Yeah, it's really good. Like I said, it looks the part, and it fits the route nicely as well.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Right, 40. It's only a quick drive, so we don't have to stop anywhere. So if anyone starts shouting, they're worth. Yeah. Just thinking, we got to get to Barnt Green.
Yeah, 1 minute. Keep going, just speed, it's fine.
Oh, I can be forgiven for being a minute or two late, it's not a problem, but... What stock is in the pack? Well, the driven train's the 323, but we've seen 350s in the scenario, and a 66.
I believe the 350 is included. I'm not sure about the 66. Don't know.
How did it turn up as a piece of AI then?
It may be something to do
It
with
might
other
be
routes.
AI only.
Yeah, it might be AI only.
I don't think TS1 can add things automatically.
Oh, right.
That's a TS World feature.
Fair enough.
QuickDrive is different. QuickDrive can bring extra stuff in.
Yeah.
However, if we see something coming the other way at the moment, that'd be a problem.
Yeah. Liam's transportation, yes, you can use the long bridge reversing siding in this. There's actually one scenario that does that, and that's the scenario number 5 or scenario number 6, something like that. Oh, Danny said 66 is bundled with it. Yeah, so 66 is part of it. Cool.
I should really prep more and find out answers to that kind of question, but
there's a couple of Four Oaks scenarios. I'm not sure if it's a Redditch to Four Oaks scenario, but there's or Litchfields. I don't think we've got any Litchfield City scenarios, but we definitely got other scenarios of the Four Oaks and things like that. Yeah.
And don't forget you have the tools.
Yeah.
Make some scenarios, upload them to Steam Workshop, and then tell Jamie.
This station's actually quite interesting. When we did the reference for it, there was some interesting. What we'd done was basically the people who made the map. They basically used Google Images, and from Google Earth and Google Images, from the sky down, it looks a bit like a power station. And they put a power station in the middle of the station. I was like, well, that's not quite right. I mean, there's a hedge that goes between the two platforms, and I was like, yeah, just to let you know, this is actually some caravans. But the way it looks from Google Earth, it looked like a power station. I could see where they'd gone with it, and I was just like, yeah, that's close, but we'll get that fixed.
It's amazing how you can misinterpret some of the things that you see from the overhead imagery, and it's one of the reasons it's really important to go out and visit sites, as part of the normal route reference that we do, and particularly when we've got great people such as yourself who can help us out, particularly in times like this when we can't actually get out there at the moment.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to misinterpret what you're seeing or not understand exactly what it is. So,
and, at the end of the day, they can't. All the route builders can't sit there on Google Street View all day, every day for every single route. It's not not exactly practical or time saving at all.
No, not at all.
Do the best we can.
But that's another function the beta team do is they bring their own expertise into the routes and help the team make it that much better, which is really good. I want a big shout out, not just you, Duncan, but to all the beta team. Who help us tirelessly with lots of research and so on and so forth. It's hugely appreciated.
Yeah.
I know the team will very much appreciate the sometimes it's actual assets, like here's some sounds we've recorded and here's a bunch of photos we've taken. Sometimes it's just that scenario wasn't really fun. It's all really useful feedback. It's very, very useful. Right.
And a lot of stuff we suggest to Matt as well is we'll suggest ideas to Matt, and Matt's like, "Oh, I've already thought about it. I'm thinking about that in the future, and maybe we can't do that, but we'll do this instead." And anything we thought of, Matt's already thought of. Is
not just me, everybody. The team are all really busy. A lot of the team that are actually directly communicating with the beta team now. It's really fascinating to watch the dialogue going between everybody, because everybody's just really keen to make a really good product. So hopefully that's what you think you've seen today. I think so, but I'm probably supposed to say that. So I'm just going to press escape there. And that's the end of our preview for Cross City. Coming out tomorrow, I believe $24.99. Huge credit to the team that worked on it. I've seen some stuff there that I've really been impressed by, actually. And again, hope you have as well. The reason we do these streams is because it doesn't really matter whether I like it. It matters whether you like it. So let's show it to you, and here's what it is. I showed the map 2 or 3 times previously in the stream, Thomas 1321. So if you go back and look at earlier parts of the stream, you can you can catch some looks of the view. I brought the map up several times. Big thank you to Duncan, not just for coming along tonight and giving up your evening to come and say hello and only minorly comment on the quality of my driving, but also for the outstanding support you've given to help us make the product what it is. So can we get around to GGs for Duncan, please? And also for the team that made the product. Let's
I only got references. The team who made it come together, and it's
yeah, they've done a fantastic job.
Yes,
so thank you very much,
job.
everybody. Okay, folks, I'm going to bring us into the trailer again briefly, and then after that we'll be going to let's bring the schedule back up. We have got Sims and Stuff taking us through till 10:30 on the Edinburgh Glasgow line. And then Drawyah will be taking us through to the end of the evening on the West Coast Mainline. So we have got plenty of good stuff to look forward to. Hang around, and we'll see you next time. I'm going to be here, but I won't be talking. I'll be chatting to you on the chat. Otherwise than that, thank you again, Duncan, for joining us, and we'll see you another time.
Catch you again soon. Bye bye.
Yes, we're back. We're back again in Train Sim. We're back again for another journey, and this time up in Scotland. And we're going from here in Edinburgh on a trip, as you can see on the front of the train, to Glasgow Queen Street in this lovely diseasily Class 170. Our journey is going to take us from Waverley to Haymarket, to Falkirk, to Croy, and then finally to Queen Street. What can possibly go wrong? Everything I hear you say. So let's pop inside the train, looking rather nice in here. We've already popped the lights on outside. Let's let our passengers get on board. If you're new to my content, then welcome indeed. Train is normally going out on my YouTube channel every single Wednesday, starting from OMSI on a Monday, on a Friday alternating between Firm Bus and Tourist Bus, and on a Saturday currently some farming and flight, again alternating, and on a Sunday some trucking. So plenty of content from me. It's not just trains, however. Yeah, I'm a bit of a train geek. Okay, so yes, a fairly lengthy journey ahead of us. Hopefully we will be fine as far as traffic's concerned. Train ready to set off at 15:30. We've got the all clear. It's in forward. Let's give it some power and move ourselves off. Looking rather nice in here. Hopefully we're going to switch rails, otherwise it's going to end badly for the HST in front of us. No, I think we're okay. So Haymarket is the first stop. Back it off a little bit. So yes, definitely a fan of a diesel, and I do like a DMU. Let's increase that volume a little bit. So we've got a single yellow, which means we need to be prepared to stop, ready for the next one, which should be just down here. So yeah, most of the content I do, if you are new to the content, is pretty much the UK. I do chuck some other stuff in there as well, but I sort of slightly, maybe a little bit, know the UK stuff a little bit. and it helps geographically to know where you are. And it's the signalling system is the thing for me. So another single yellow as we come out of here. Train looking rather nice, weather looking rather nice. Another 170 coming in. It looks like it could be a bit stop-starty before we leave Haymarket. But hopefully okay. So 35 limit coming up. And see if we get a green around here. That's showing red. Can't quite see my one yet. Yeah, we're showing a red. Okay. So we'll slow ourselves down. Oh, okay, we've got a yellow. So we're definitely following something. And we'll see what that is. Hopefully, by going a little bit slower, which we shouldn't really be doing, it'll get a chance to get away from us a little bit. So through the tunnel. Okay, another red coming up just down here. Didn't really want to be stopping in the tunnel, but if that's got to be, that's got to be. Let's see if we can creep our way forward rather than come to a complete stop that I've just done. So yeah, train something that's I've been putting out on the YouTube channel for quite a while now, and something that I also stream once a week on Twitch every Whaleway Wednesday. And definitely up there with just one of those really relaxing sims to be spending time in. I just love the variety of different lines, of different trains that you can get yourself in, and the fact that being in the UK, which is one of the reasons why I stick with the UK, is that you have got that geographical knowledge of where you are. So you've got some sort of idea whereabouts in the country you are. You get a sort of an idea in your mind. Whereas, you know, as great as some of the content from the rest of the world is, it helps to, for me anyway, to be able to know where I am. And I'm actually doing a series which is sort of intermittent slightly in Train Sim, what I call my roaming driver series, where basically we will continue a journey from where we got to previously. So trying to get my roaming driver around the country, so which can make it a bit of a challenge when I'm trying to get him from sort of London back up to Edinburgh. Well, there's not all the bits of the UK covered by Train Sim, so occasionally a bit of creative routing has got to be put in, but it's something that's really enjoyable to do. So, you know, if I arrive in Birmingham on a route from London to Birmingham via Oxford, well, the next journey I need to take leaves from Birmingham. So if we were doing this, for example, going between Edinburgh and Glasgow, well, then the next journey I did would have to carry on from Glasgow and continue. Well, sort of limiting routes from Glasgow, so it does make it really interesting. It actually just saves doing, you know, the same routes over and over again. Okay, so we have arrived in Haymarket. We'll open those doors. So Haymarket, then it's Falkirk. There's the awesome canal wheel, the Falkirk wheel there. Then Croy, and then finally Queen Street in Glasgow. But yeah, really like the train. I'm a huge fan of diesel anyway. I like the noise. A little bit quiet in this one in the cab for me. But I do really like the noise of a diesel. Shame we haven't got any windows we can open in here so that we can hear it a bit more. But it's looking rather nice. There we go. Successful stop. Train ready to proceed to Falkirk High. If you're watching this on my YouTube channel, then I will leave a link to below to where you can purchase the route. And also links down there as well to the Discord server that we have, and Twitch as well, so I'm live streaming between 5 and 6 days of the week on Twitch, and once a week doing some trains every single Wednesday evening, which is really enjoyable. Right, hopefully now we get some greens, because we've got on 90. Having some greens would be quite nice. And see if we can gain a bit of speed. Yes, we have. See, from the outside it actually sounds really, really nice. Move that out of the way. Yeah, train sim something. Blimey, I've been doing train sim, well, not just content for the last 4 or 5 years, but train sim I've been playing myself since, blimey, the original train simulator. So going back a long time, which if you'd have told me then that you would get it looking this good and sounding this good and having this sort of variety of routes, it's just, I cannot wait to see the future of this. I can't wait to see where it goes. Really enjoy getting new content, new routes, and I said my eventual aim will be to get every route in the UK. It would just be awesome. Okay, so we got some double yellows coming up here now. That speed burst lasted a long time, didn't it? So we'll back off, because then I reckon we're going to get a single yellow here, and then the next one down the line then will be a red. So yay for that. So yeah, if you are new to the content, some of my content can get quite random. I do, if you check out some other stuff, or if you've seen any of my other stuff, random is definitely a thing. Some professional people will have scripts and things and notes, and we even know what they're going to do beforehand. No, we don't do any of that. Okay, so another double yellow. Let's see if we can. We're due. We're actually on time at the moment, so we should be okay. I am going to keep my eye on this little bit of speed and just bring it back just until we get some greens, because we've got 21 miles to go to Falkirk, so don't really want to be going too slowly. Another double yellow, so we're definitely following something. I'm just keeping my eye on that ETA down in the bottom corner there, just to see if we actually start losing out on time. Hopefully we don't. We had some discussions recently on one of the live streams about if you had to have just one sim, if there was one game that you could play, what would it be? And it's a difficult one, because I create a lot of different content, you know, flight, trucking, bus and coach sims, train sim, farming, all sorts of stuff that's sort of sim related. But I actually think, and I did say on the stream, that I think it would be train sim, because of the variety of trains, the variety of routes, times of day, the variety of sort of workshop content you can get as well to existing routes, so the different scenarios you can get, and the way it's just as a community and as a platform is continuing to grow and continuing to develop. It's just awesome. It's just really, really great as a place to spend your time. So I do think that train sim would be the one. If I had to only do one, it would be it. It is definitely in my top 3. Trains being first, then 2 and 3 are really tough. It sort of currently doing a lot of farm sim, really like that, very, very relaxing, a bit like this is. But flight is also up there for me, but flight isn't something that I would just jump on and do. Oh, we got a green. Okay, let's give it more speed then. But this, you could quite happily just go, oh, I've got half an hour, I'll nip on and do a quick route. Because even though the actual, you know, the basis of the sim is fairly old now, it just looks and sounds fantastic. And some of the routes, some of the scenery, it's just really, really nice. Right, so we should get a bit of speed up here now. Although we've got a 90 limit coming up soon, just as we get towards the 100. Still getting greens, that's good. I really like the layout of this thing as well. So I'm using Track IR. If you are new to the content, I do use Track IR, which again, for a lot of sims, especially trains, it's just a game changer really, because you just move your head to look around rather than having to use the mouse, and it just makes a lot of difference. One of those little tiny things that just make the whole sim gaming experience a lot better, which is why I've ended up sort of pretty much doing exclusively sim gaming. It's an awesome world with such a variety of stuff to immerse you into. Okay, we've got a 90 limit coming up down here. 16 miles to go to Falkirk. Train there waiting for us by the looks of things. Yep. So bit up a little bit of speed as we come out over here, looking rather nice. That audio is just so nice. It's just one of those where you can just listen to it. Okay, and I do like the fact it's a single lever or single-handed operation as well. So one lever controlling your brake and your throttle. So from an ease of jumping in and doing a route, if you're fairly new to train sim, it's just very simple. Okay, we'll bring that speed down a little bit for the 80 coming up. Another green. Okay, just about 80. And yeah, you know, the fact we got the dirt on the windows and we can bring the blind down if we wanted to. It's the little tiny bits of detail. You know, as I said, I'm a huge fan of DMUs. I'm a huge fan of diesels. I do like something with a large window. I'm not a fan of some of the classes of train where you're looking through a little tiny square porthole here, which is realistic and that's how they are, but I'd rather just see more. So this looks and feels really, really nice. I have spent in the past a long time on a couple of occasions now on stream / YouTube videos in a pacer. I did a 7-hour trip from Edinburgh to London in a pacer, and then did Paddington to Penzance in a pacer. That's a long journey, stopping at every single stop on both of them. So yeah, if that doesn't show the committal to train sim, I don't know what does, honestly. Or madness. It's one of those. I think madness is probably it. Right, we've got 100 limit now. Bring that power back up. Actually going quite well as a small DMU. 12 miles to go till we get to Falkirk. Sounds really nice. Right, heading towards that 100. Will we actually get there this time? Is there a speed limit to this? Nothing posted anywhere. Unusual. Unless someone's stolen the sticker. It's fallen off. It's on the floor somewhere, maybe. So we're due in at 15:58. Our ETA is 15:57. So we're actually roughly on time at the moment. I'm sure that'll change further down the line. It'll obviously hold us there. Oh, flyby. Actually does sound really nice. Yeah, I just wish it was a bit louder in the cab here. That's because I like to hear it. Right, back it off a little tiny bit. Just so we can keep under that 100. We've got 9 miles to go to get to Falkirk. Yeah, it's a Falkirk wheel, isn't there? That's well, Falkirk, surprisingly, that links two different levels of canal or canal and river. Stunning piece of engineering. It's really, really cool. I don't think it's anywhere near the railway, so I won't be able to see it. I think they've already done this line once or twice now. There's just too many routes, too many scenarios, just not enough time. Right, okay, we've got a 90 coming up, so we'll back off the throttle. Apply a little bit of brake. Bring that speed back down to 90. As we come through there we go. Oh, even sounds nice when it's not. It's almost just ticking over. See, how can you not like that? That's just so nice. I could just sit and listen to that for hours. Right, 7 miles to get to Falkirk. Whipping along. Oh, 100 limit coming up as well, so we can put the power back on. Still roughly on time, actually early by about a minute, so it is going to hold us at Falkirk. Another nice bit of scenery as we come past. Again, one of the reasons why train sim is definitely up there for me, because scenery, okay, may not be, or graphically may not be the best because of the game engine it's running on, but for me it's about audio. Audio plays a big part in any sim for me. So having the audio right, which this has got some stunning audio. So I did a trip recently in the 205 and then deemed that to be the best train in train sim, because the audio in the little 2-car version of it was, I've just never heard audio like it in train sim. So it does make a difference. The immersion, the audio is part of the immersion. And visually, yes, it's important, but it's not as important. Some of the lines you get a lot of traffic, so a lot of other trains on the line. That makes a difference to me. I would rather have good audio and good other traffic rather than have it graphic looking good, because having that gives it a feel of the line being alive and used. So again, it's all about the immersion, which is what all sorts of sim gaming is about. It's simulating the real experience. It's having that sense that you are doing this, which is the reason that we all hopefully like sim gaming. Right, still getting greens. That's good. I don't think that's going to be the case all the way into Glasgow. So we're going to get held up at some point. We're only 3 miles away now. 100 limit coming up. No real benefit to actually making our way towards that. You can see we are early, so I'll back it off slightly. Train coming the other way. It is just really, really nice even. There's words there. Definitely one of those routes, 55 minutes each way, and a couple of different scenarios on, so daytime and nighttime versions of each way, so yeah, you could do this one this way and then come back again in daytime, and then do the other scenario, which is this way at night, and then do the other one, which is coming back at night. So that's 4 hours just on this, without extra scenarios and extra Steam Workshop content. Even just one line, there's probably more hours of gameplay in one line in this than you get in some other full game titles. And it's awesome. You pick up the lines that you want. A lot of people will buy the line where they live, so we'll buy their local line and then use that, and then just expand out. Maybe a train journey you've done a few times. Maybe you took the train on holiday, so you can recreate that line. Maybe taking the train somewhere that you've never been before, or somewhere that you want to go. It's just awesome, and I just love the variety of variety of lines, variety of different trains. You know, from classics like the HST to some of the modern stuff, to some of the really old Blue Era BR stuff, even Steam. Steam's something that I've never really got into. I would like to do more of it, but never really seen much as far as DLCs are concerned. Perhaps that's something I need to look into, as to getting some Steam, because again, that just looks and feels so nice. Right, in we come into Falkirk. With the train sounding really, really nice. Duck under the bridge. Don't want to hit your head. There we go. Stop at Falkirk. So we've done Edinburgh, Haymarket, now at Falkirk, and we've got Croy and Queen Street, Glasgow to go. So far, really enjoyable journey. So don't forget to check out the links below the video to see more of my content. I say trains, or trams, trains, and trams, trains. Wow, trains continuing on the channel every single Wednesday in the random form, as this one's turning out to be now. So on Twitch every Wednesday I stream trains on Railway Wednesday, and then also on a Wednesday, normally those streams then go up the week after onto YouTube. So if you can't catch live, you can certainly watch them on YouTube as well. So it's going to hold us here by the looks of things. There we go. Successful can't speak today. Successful stop. Train ready to proceed to Croy. Such a professional. Somewhere. I'm sure there is one. Oh, that sounds pleasant. Yeah, it does sound pleasant. Not the most rapid accelerating vehicles. Yeah, he's done a good job of the audio on this. Oh, that's not a view. We'll go back inside then. Okay, some of the external views are quite random. Right, so 9 miles, or just under 10 miles to go until we get to Croy. And then it's our final destination then. Yeah, I really like the fact that in this as well, with Train Sim overall, that there are some, you know, really quick sort of 15-20 minute journeys that you can do. So if you think, oh, I've only got half an hour, I'll just jump on and do that quickly. And there are some really long journeys that can be done. And the fact that you can just enhance your experience by DLCs and add-ons that are available, it's just awesome. It just really, really is. It's one of those that once you bought the standard train sim, you can then just add bits as you're able to, and just keep expanding the routes. But with most of them, you get a number of scenarios with each route, and if you did all of those, then that's going to take you some time. So there's a heck of a lot of hours of gameplay within each route, and depending on where and when you're purchasing those, they can be fairly inexpensive, and you can look at some of the older routes that are really good, and over time, which is exactly what I've done, you then build up your database, your catalogue of routes and scenarios, and it just gives you so many options then. And I'm continuing to build my catalogue of train sim content, because I like doing new things. Every time there's a new route out, I'll look at it. Certainly the UK, as I said earlier, I want to be able to get to having every single available route in the UK. And we've got this roaming driver thing that I mentioned, where we're trying to get this driver around the UK, and then when we get the Channel Tunnel, because that's being worked on, and we can then get from London to Paris, well then we can get across to Paris and then look at getting our roaming driver to the continent. So that's something you can do. It's just, it's awesome. It just really, really is. It's just one of those. It's just so relaxing. And yes, one of the sims I just don't get bored with. It is up there for me. That sounds really nice. Right, 5 miles to go to Croy, where we're roughly on time as well. So speed, I'm just backing off a little tiny bit. So we're due in at 16:09 and 15. Current ETA 16:09:01. So 7 minutes away. It's a really nice line as well. Lots of good scenery. It's a lovely day. It's just really, really enjoyable place to be. So yes, Scotland as well, obviously being really nice. Okay, pick up the speed a little tiny bit. I'm sure we're going to get some more yellows. Certainly as we come closer to Glasgow. For the moment, we're doing okay. Hitting greens, and that's what we like to do. It's the unknown. You just don't know, is the next one going to be green? It's not going to be green. And certain trains, again, you're talking different lengths of loco, different braking types, the conditions. So if you're using a route in the rain, in winter, you're going to slide. And I've had several journeys, most of which have been live on streams, where I've just slid past a station because they just won't stop. So I just love how realistic certain aspects of it are. The braking and the accelerating is as it would be. So the realism is there. Actually, there we go. We've got double yellows. So I'll start bringing the speed down anyway. It's only a mile away. So this next one, I reckon, could be a single yellow. So definitely bring that speed off without making it too uncomfortable for our passengers. Okay, yep, single yellow. So the next one is a red. So we've got to be prepared to stop before the next signal. So I'll wait until we can see it, just in case it changed back to a yellow. In fact, they've cut out through this this rock face here as well, just to get the line in. That's a nice straight bit of track. So yeah, obviously you could drive with these off, some people do. We could drive with a minimal version of them on. I like to use them on, certainly when I'm recording content, so that you can see what's going on. You can see how far it is to the next station. You can see what's coming up down here. You can see where the levers are, where the brakes are, and where the brake positioning is, and the G meter over here. So it's easier for your ability. Plus it makes it easier for me as well. Just saying. Okay, that's a red. Okay, so we've got a red. Which has now changed to a yellow. So we haven't got long anyway until we are due in. So we'll just cruise our way in. That audio is so nice. Over the bridge is and in we come to Croy. We're actually very early. Is that going to hold us here? Because we were due in at 16:09. Logically, it should hold us here for over a minute before we then arrive. So what time are we due into Glasgow? 16:25. Okay, it might be okay. So 17 minutes to arrive in Glasgow. We'll see what happens. Yeah, scenery looking rather nice. Not sure if this is what Croy Station looks like. Got the buses there waiting to pick people up. Station car park looking a little bit empty. Successful stop. Proceed to Glasgow, Queen Street. Okay, 11 miles. Off we go again. Due in at 16:25. ETA 16:23. So 15 minutes time. Providing, of course, we don't get held up along the way. That just sounds really nice. Right then, 11 miles to go. Are we going to get greens all the way? I don't think we will when we get closer to Glasgow. I'm sure that's so tempting. Move a mouse there and hit the emergency brake. We might get a bit of traffic as we get closer. I'm sure we're going to get held up somewhere. Yeah, really liking this train. Really liking the route. So if you're watching on my YouTube channel, then I will leave links to the DLC in the description below, and also links to the Discord server and a Twitch page where you can watch me live 6 days a week. So you stream trains every single Wednesday. Right, still picking up speed, still due in early. 16:23 is our estimated time for arrival. But that all depends on lights on the way in. So I've never been to Glasgow. Been to Edinburgh, never been to Glasgow. Quite nice actually, I should imagine. Quite nice to get the train between the two. Now I know what the route is like. What's that thing over there? That's the thing. It's a wind turbine? Mast. Well, it's something where the top may have fallen off of it, but no, it's just a mast. Right, green light. We should be good. 8.5 miles to go. So 8.5 miles at 90 miles an hour. That isn't going to take us that long, is it? So we are going to get held up somewhere, because that ETE would be oops, truck IR freaking out. That ETA, sorry, would be making a difference. So I'm wondering now, how are we going to get held up along the way? There must be a severe speed restriction coming up. I'm just going to back off the power now. Just in case. Nope. Hello. That's useful. There we go. Right, 95 miles an hour. I knew what I meant. How's it going to take another 10 minutes? I'm just waiting now for these signals just to change. Because we've only got 5 miles to go. I think it'll take 10 minutes to do 5 miles, unless we got an average speed that's severely dropped. I'll come down to an 85. I'm going to bring the speed back down. I'm just waiting for it now. Something's going to happen. There's going to be a surprise at some point along the way now that's just going to be limiting us. 50. Okay. Right, let's bring that down nice and early. Okay, that's going to be the warning of the speed limit change. So we'll bring that speed way down. Unless we get a red now, which could be a thing. There may be that we get a red light. And well, I've got a 40 coming up. So it is going to bring us down. We'll see what happens. It's only got 2.8 miles to go. It's saying that's going to take us another 9 minutes. Okay, single yellow. So I'm going to bring that, there we go. I'm going to bring that speed down, 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 down. Just in case that next one is a red. Because you never know. Hopefully not, because I don't really want a red. It is a red. Okay. That's fine. We can stop. Oh no, we got a yellow. Okay, no, we got a yellow. Oh, we might be alright. We'll creep through the yellow. We'll keep an eye on the next one, which is just down the other end of the bar, down the bottom there. And it's a 40 coming up anyway. Are we going to make it on time? We're due in... Yeah, we're still early. Due in at 16:25. Our ETA is 16:23. So we're actually due in a minute early. You better bring the power back down. So we're going back down to a 40. Then we got a 30. Another single yellow. Which means the next one's red again. So I did anticipate us being held up a little bit on the way in. But we should be good. We're 15 coming up after the 30. We've got to slow ourselves down. Ready for this next one, which is a red. Just down there by the tunnel. It's just gone to a yellow. So we're going to get to creep through. So it says we're due in 5 minutes time. So I reckon we're going to get held up again. How is it still saying we're going to be doing in 4 minutes now? Unless we're going to get severely held up. Okay, that's a red. So they're going to hold us here in the tunnel. Okay, now we've got a yellow. Creep our way forward. I overstopped on that one. Okay, creep through the yellow. The next one's going to be a red. Or actually, they might take us straight in to our platform. Because we've only got half a mile to go until we get there. Bring that speed down. I'm ready for that 15. It's a slight downward slope as well. And yet, yellow platform 4. And in we come slowly. So apologies about the fixed view that we've got now inside. My track IR, which I used to look around, as you can see, decided to freak out slightly. The joys of technology. So I've got a locked view. It's fine, we can still see where we're going. Just be careful not to speed up too much. As we come down into Queen Street. Hopefully not going in this track here, hopefully around this one round here. Definitely rather nice, really enjoyable route. Don't really want to be crashing into the barrier at the other end now. And there we go. Let everybody off. What a great route. And really, really nice train as well. It's not going to hold us up waiting. So yeah, thanks for that. So yeah, I will leave a link in the description below to where you can watch me live on Twitch. To where you can also catch, you can also join the Discord server. Fell apart, and also where you can purchase the route itself, which is awesome and highly, highly recommended. Thanks to Dovetail for helping to promote the content. Really do appreciate that as well. Now wait for our passengers to get off. There we go. Well done. That was a successful drive. It was indeed. Most enjoyable. So there we go. 965 XP gained. A little bit of speeding, but generally was okay. Rather nice. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed that journey. So plenty more to come from me. Live streaming every Wednesday on Twitch with some train sim and trains going out on the channel every single Wednesday as well on Whaleway Wednesday. So do check out that other content from me. We will end that there then. Until the next time, if you have been. Thanks very, very much for watching.
Evening, everybody. Welcome back. So big thanks to Sims and Stuff there for the Edinburgh to Glasgow run. That was fantastic. Coming up now, we have Drawyah on the West Coast Mainline. So without further ado, thanks very much, Drawyah. Take it away.
Hey there, Drawyah here, and welcome to my segment of this year's March Madness for Train Simulator. So today we're taking service of this class 350 from here in Rugby all the way to London Euston, which is about an hour or so of driving today. Forming the service 1 Uniform 20, so a London North Western service from Crewe to Euston, and we're taking a latter part of the journey from Rugby, stopping in Street at Milton Keynes Central, and then take a train all the way to Euston. So, train's getting separated apart, we're departing on time right now, looking good. We are tracking ourselves on third rails map, so you can see that on the lower right side of the screen, and hopefully should all go to plan quite nicely. We set train up already, as it would be on a intermediary service. Set the accelerator up, and let's get ourselves departing to Euston. So, like I say, taking charge of a class 350 today. It's in the livery of London, of West Midlands trains, and hopefully should give us a rather good service, and an on-time service, of course, to London today. Because, like I say, it's about an hour or so from start to finish, and with that, it's given me like an hour or so too, getting it going. So we're on a strict timetable today. We're on a strict timetable, and it's my job to get ourselves to London on time. So initially going to speed up to 125 miles per hour as we are running on the fast lines. This is a express train from Crewe to Euston, limited stops on the way. The full service is starting at Crewe, makes its first stop at Stafford, stopping at Rugeley, Trent Valley, Litchfield, Trent Valley, Tamworth, Aylestone, Nuneaton, Rugby, Milton Keynes Central, and London Euston. This should pass around 7:15, 07:14, and arriving expected at 09:36. And so 08:34 right now. Fingers crossed. Trying to get there a bit early, according to plan. So leaving train at max acceleration right now, we'll let train push its way to its limit. There will be a few drops in speed on the way, so for example, soon we'll be coming up towards a tunnel just outside of Rugby. We do slow for that, but for the most part, we should be able to push for the 410 mph speed limit of the train. And hopefully on the way as well, I'll give you a bit of like a bit of a local tour, so a bit of local knowledge, a little bit of what's going on around us. Touchwood, be a pretty fun journey overall. So we're running on the West Coast Mainline South route. This just recently came out for Train Sim World in the 2021 update, part of the Premium Deluxe package of that. Runs from London Euston all the way to Birmingham New Street, with the station, well, main stations all the way, so you've got Watford Junction, Milton Keynes Central, the two main big stations down south for the route. and then as you head to the north, you then have the split at Rugby, where you then have the West Coast Mainline and the Trent Valley routes. And then we continue along the West Coast Mainline, and then end up all the way at Birmingham via Birmingham International. So you do get the entire London portion. It's not a bad route. One I do take fairly often before the world shut down on us, of course. Now the parts is route from Rugby. You zoom out on the map, an idea of where we are in the UK. Rugby just south of Birmingham, very central here in the UK. You can see on the low portion there, I got speed limit slow down at 100, well, down to 110 shortly, which is the top speed of our train. So in my case, it's really a case of leave the accelerator at max, and the train will do the work for us. And of course, the West Midlands Railway also run alongside. Well, it's West Midlands Railway is the main parent company, but the London. Whoops, yeah, I'm going a little bit fast there. The London. But the London North Western Railway is a subsidiary of this, and therefore they're two separate routes operated by the same TOC, same train operating company, in this case West Midlands Trains. And it was the replacement for the West Midlands Railway, which in 2019 had the changeover from that. So in 2019 we saw the change from West Midlands West Midlands Trains to London North Western Railway, and then we also saw in 2019 a change from Virgin Trains to Avanti West Coast. So in terms of the AI service on this route, we will spot a few high-speed Avanti West Coast trains on the right side of us, and they're passing through Watford Gap. Not in Watford, but has got quite well-known service station, the M6 motorway. We will spot a few London Avanti West Coast services on the route today, and potentially as we start to approach London as well, the service starts to build up a bit. Spot a few London Overground services between Watford Junction and London Euston as well. And of course we also run alongside the Bakerloo line, and that operates from Harrow and Wildstone. And then that's branched away from us at Queen's Park, which then continues its own journey to Elephant Castle, down through central London, Zone 1. Look at the time, so far so good. We're expected to arrive on time. Actually, we're expected to arrive about 3 minutes early, which means we're doing so far so good. We'll put the speed back up again, since we have dropped down to 90 miles per hour, and clean it back up to 125. We can push the train a bit, we can slightly stretch it to its top speed again. The expected time for Milton Keynes Central, that will be at 08:55. So in around, well, kind of 08:40, so 15 minutes, around 15 minutes with our first stop. And then between Milton Keynes Central and on Euston, it's around 40 minutes of non-stop driving. So this is the short bits from Milton Keynes. We do pass quite a few intermediary stations, but none of those we do stop at. There you go, we've got an Avanti West Coast Voyager on the right hand side. The Voyager trains actually on their way out, so they're going to be replaced by Class 800 types on the Avanti West Coast Mainline, and they're expected to arrive late 2021 and continue replacing trains until at least 2023. That's the M42 motor, I believe, on there. Nope, M1, sorry. M1 from London to Birmingham. And the M1 does follow a long portion of the West Coast Main Line. It also follows alongside the Midland Main Line, so where Thameslink Train operates, as well as I was going to say the original company, East Midlands Railway, but they've changed now, haven't they? So where the Thameslink operates around Mill Hill and L Street, the M1 also goes alongside the Midland Line there. But for now, it will follow alongside of us here on the West Coast Main Line. See, train has pushed up to 113 miles per hour now. It's stable itself at that speed. It just dropped down to 120, but that won't cause any slowdown for us on our service today. So you've now just hit 0841, stopping at 0855. There's no kind of ETA in our stop at Milton Keynes, so once we arrive at Milton Keynes, it'll be kind of a chance for us to kind of check timing. So how are we doing? How on track are we? And potentially if we need to speed up a bit, can we muck it around for that as well? But hopefully there won't be too much need for messing around. Apart from that small bit where we kind of got to 112 on the 110 limits earlier on, we should be able to make it to the end of the route without too many problems indeed. You can see, still it does change between 120 and 125. Very, very little difference, and that won't cause any little problem for us on this journey today. So passing now through Weedon Junction just behind us. You can also spot the Midland Main Line on the map. Not so much on our routes right now, but on the map, they're kind of, it is kind of ghosting us on the very north portion of the route, very north portion of the map. The Midland Main Line does follow along with us, not exactly, but it does both end up towards the Midlands. The Midland Main Line focuses in more on the Northampton area, so it goes through St Albans, Luton, all the way up to Northamptonshire through there. Now going through Hayford. The wipers going there. Goes off again. I don't know how to. Got West Coast Vidro again on the right hand side. There we go. Class 350 itself, so it's an electric unit built in the early 2000s. Built for West Coast Mainline and built for the intermediate services between London and Birmingham, or in this case Western Railway network as well. So has a running top speed of 110 miles per hour, which is slightly faster than your conventional electric unit, which runs at around 80, 90, 100 miles per hour. So it does have a slightly higher top speed, as it helps through the pantographs on top of the train. These pantographs do allow for higher running speeds, although in this case you just have to see sparks in the background, high amount of culling as you do hit different passes. And also the interior train designed for more, again, slightly more long journey distances rather than your usual commuter services that you do get within the London area down south. I'm going to pass through Gayton Junction coming up next. Gayton Station, of course, in the city as well. But once again, pass straight through it. No need for a stop on the way. We have a look at the main map itself, going over on the map as well. So, unused down south, there's your bushy loop into Watford Junction. There you go, your St Albans Abbey line, which runs off to the north. We continue up for our line. Spot over here. Bletchley, the station just before Milton Keynes, also Interchange Junction, and also home of Network Rail, I believe. Network Rail have bases in Bletchley and at Milton Keynes, Milton Keynes Central, just up north. So that'll be our first stop. Train is currently in this section of track. Running 8 car unit, class 350, Billsworth siding just around the side. And now about to interchange with another railway line. The conversion from the left hand side for us this time. Well, it wasn't quite blocked by the window pane there. There it comes. And then From this point on, so as we hit Junction, I believe the line then splits from a 2-line track, dual line track, to the full 4-line track of the West Coast Mainline, and that'll run as 4-track all the way to London Euston, where then it kind of runs as 4-track all the way to Watford Junction, then cut across the Watford Viaduct, and then once we hit Harrow and Wolstone, we then join to a 6-track lane. So we'll have the fast line of the West Coast Main Line, you have the slow lines of the West Midlands trains, the London Western Railway, and then you also have the local service of both London Overground and Bakerloo line services. So you can see now running on 4 tracks now, 2 lines both heading towards London. We're running on the fast line, so we won't change over ourselves, we'll be staying on the fast lines, but services that run locally will make a change over to the left hand side now, as we then separate the fast express services from the slower local services. And the only place that really changes is at Milton Keynes. We have a 5th Bay platform at the station, and Bletchley will have a few branch lines extra off that as well. We're only now about 7 miles away from Milton Keynes, so in the next couple of moments start looking at slowing the train down, bring it to a halt. Oops. So what happened there, you notice that the yellow light came on for the pantograph VCB down option, so pantograph circuit breaker closed, and basically what's happened there is there's a slight gap in your scenery, and in that section you're running on no scenery, running, and all of a sudden it disappears. Your pantograph's still up, but there's no power being given to the train, and in that short section the train kind of coasts on its own. As I've not directly interacted with the circuit breaker, as soon as the train connects to the pantograph line again, it will reconnect and carry on giving the train power. But there will be small gaps in the line where either at junctions, points, or where maintenance is taking place, there'll be no power gets cut, and in that short section the train starts to coast for a little bit. There you go, it's got a few junctions down below now. At this point, the fast lines and the slow lines will be changing between one another. Now trains are on their correct line all the way now towards London. And up again, we should be approaching next station of Milton Keynes. And in the next couple of moments, we'll start thinking about bringing the brakes on. We cut the power of the train now, leave it on the off position master controller. We're using master controller, so it's a combined brake and throttle lever. There's no need for me to kind of mess around with that. Now passing through Castlethorpe. Still looking at 9:30 arrival time for London, so actually gained 3 minutes since we last checked the time. Means we're actually doing very good for time. Milton Keynes Central not supposed to depart until around, well, we arrive at 08:55, we stop for 5 minutes, and then depart at 0900. We're not going to stop for 5 minutes. We'll stop the station, we'll do the normal doors open, doors close, and then we'll go on our own time again, just to speed things up a bit, and to give us a good little pace as our train travels down to London. The train is slowly losing speed now, slowly coming down. You'll see Wolverton Station appear on the map at the bottom there. Got a little fun story with Wolverton. So my grandfather, who's from Wolverhampton, normally if he comes down to London, well, used to come to London, he'd always he'd go down by car, we'd drive him there, or he'd drive himself, and basically, on one occasion, he decided to take the train. Now, for him, he lives at Wolverhampton, always shortened to Wolverton, so I hope the accent on that kind of stuff. One day, he took the train up to Wolverhampton and got off at Wolverton because he assumes that Wolverton was just a shortened name for Wolverhampton, and as a result, he basically ended up stranded. Spoke to the person at the ticket office, and they're like, no, this isn't Wolverhampton, this is the town of Wolverton. So, as a result, he never took the train out of London ever again, because he also took the He took the slow commuter train, and for him it was the longest journey he'd ever been through. You have all these fast trains whizzing by. Now he is in a stopping train at every single town, every single little intermediary place along the way. So that's our family story of Wolverton. Alright, next station will be Milton Keynes, so we need to start preparing ourselves for that. That's about 85 miles per hour, that's all fine. There comes Milton Keynes. We got on to around 10% power of brake. Okay, 10 will do. But slowly bring that speed down. Maybe 20%. I might have to go to stopping now. It's an interesting city, Milton Keynes. Got quite a bit, well, it's got history, but it also doesn't have history. So, Milton Keynes was a city built in the 1960s here in the UK. For that, nothing. No station, no towns, no city. And what they wanted was a new city for people to move to that would have low living costs, but to be equidistant from London, Birmingham, Leicester. There's a few other cities as well. I can't remember the full list of it. Basically, wanted a city that was cheap to live in, commutable to major cities around it. And what they also experienced on was a grid layout that allowed people to drive more than walk. So, the city itself was built in the 1960s. It was a very grid-like layout. If you're driving, it's fine. If you're walking, I have noted, it's not the easiest to get around. So I used to do a lot of skiing in the indoor centre. I think it's Escape for the Milton Keynes. It's an interesting city, Milton Keynes. More often your research, if you're interested in kind of interested like new housing projects and different expansions here in the UK. Stuff that you may not quite know about. What we do, of course, know about Milton Keynes is the football team, who were Wimbledon Dons. But that's a story for another day. Now coming to station, platform 4, same platform indicated on the real train times as 1 Uniform 20 comes in. Bringing in 8 car sets, and therefore we're going to push our train up to the 8 car stop board, hopefully. 5 car stops there. Travel a little bit further. Per hour, cut the brakes. Naturally, let train slow down to the stop location, which is here. We'll brake, nice and slowly. Perfect. Same thing you could ask for a better stop at all, could you? I'll stop the car units. So we're stopping in Milton Keynes now for about a minute or so. Not going to go for the full 5 minutes. Currently on time. We're about 30 seconds early, which again, making good progress. And the only stop now for us between here and London Euston is London Euston. So no more intermediary stops. Just fill on trip down to London. Go down as we get towards the end of the line. I must say, for a sim that is now over a decade old, Train Simulator, still gets its worth out. It's a not on the platform, this. Still a lot of fun to drive around, and that's for sure. So another part of Milton Keynes, 0:55. We're expected at London Euston. Normally it's 09:36. Again, we didn't say for 5 minutes here, looking at maybe an 09:31 arrival. It's only around 35 minutes from here to London. And this is running on the slower local train, not Advanced West Coast. If you're taking the high-speed 395 Pendolinos, then that would probably take around 25 minutes to get to London at high top speed. Another fun, boring fact for you guys, I guess. For those of you who watched the series The Station on ITV about a year ago now, I featured in it for a short 5-minute segment on the 3rd episode. So on the final day of West Coast of Virgin Trains, when it got transitioned to West Coast, basically I took the very final service into Euston. It was a penultimate service. There's one more train going to Birmingham that was stopping later, so I took the last service going to London, because I live in London, of course. And yeah, basically was going to have a bit of fun. Oh look, here I am on the final train, do a bit of a vlog. End up having a TV crew follow me around on the train all day to film what was a 5-minute segment on the episode. But again, nothing that I kind of expected. A lot of fun to do. The camera crew are very good, and yeah, overall quite a lot of fun to put together. A series called The Station featured on ITV, 3 episodes about a year ago. At some point though, I'd quite like to try and, well, I've got the footage, the 5-minute segment that I appear on. I might choose if I can get permission to upload it onto YouTube for a bit of fun reference later on, I guess. So passing through all stations between Milton Keynes, Central and Euston. I'm not going to name them all, as I guess I can think of. So yeah, Bletchley in front of us. Then there are a load of stations that I don't know that go into... See, it's not Haymarket. It's going to annoy me now. There's a place that I know. I've actually been there as well, but I've kind of completely forgotten what the station's name was, or the town's name. So yeah, it's Bletchley. That's Leighton Buzzard. So Leighton Buzzard, yeah, sorry, another major station I probably should have got as well. Cheddington. I've not been to Cheddington, but I'd love to go there one day. It's a very quiet, open space. Tring, again, another station I probably should have got. Tring, also the departing station of a pretty major crash at what Junction was about later. Come on, what station is it? Hemel Hempstead, that's it, Hemel Hempstead. I should have got that one. So Hemel into Apsley, into Kings Langley, again, another station I probably should have got. Then it kind of branched off into a siding there for freight as we enter Watford Junction. Then it gets easy because then we pass through Bushy. Those are overground stations up until we reach Harrow and Wildstone. Then pass through stations, that would be Kensington, that would be the Metropolitan Line, London Underground, is also Chiltern Main Line. I get back. Then we pass through Wembley Central. Wembley Central, pass a few freight sidings, the Overground and Bakerloo, switch over to our left-hand side. Continue through. And then eventually, after a few more stations on the Stowe lines, we then reach London Euston. So, like I say, we're on the main line now, we're top of the main towns and cities on the way, and then once we reach the Watford DC line, so Tring is like another terminal stop for local services into London. Those are definitely going to be all stopper trains that stop at every single trip on the way, which means that trains going up as far as Birmingham, Northampton, they then... It's how services split, so you have the Tring services that stop at every station to Tring. You then have services from Euston at Leapfrog to Tring, also you'll stop like Watford Junction as the main station, or Harrow and Wildstone. Trains that go to Tring, and then from Tring continue to every single stop. That continues as far as Rugby, or Milton Central Rugby, and then kind of just leapfrogs and goes on from there. So for example, my service in the opposite direction goes from London Euston to Rugby, so leapfrog all the stations bar Milton Central, and then from Rugby stops at every single station all the way to Crewe. And that way you can have passengers who take a, for example, you live in Rugeley and you're from London but don't want to travel on the fast train to Rugeley. What you can do is you can book a train ticket wherever, take a fast train from London to Rugby, or London to Tring, take a fast train from Tring to Rugby, and take your local train from Rugby to Rugeley. So you kind of split your services from Express, as far as the expresses will go, down to 110, we see enough for that, and then from there, you then take your slow service, your local service, to your local stop. And then of course there's a few services as well that stop at every single station on the West Coast Mainline. For example, how often you have someone going from like London Euston to Penkridge? Penkridge being on the line to Stafford, I believe. Right, because it kind of I know because I went through Penkridge once to get to Stafford just because it was the quicker route, only one station on there, Penkridge branch. Yes, you go to Wolverhampton, and then it's like a one stop, and then you're at Stafford. You get trains direct to London from there. I can't imagine too many people take that service direct, but if anybody is in the chat who does take the London to Penkridge line for London to Penkridge, then do put your hand up. That or Leighton Buzzard, so again another major stop on the way. Another Super Voyager on our right hand side there. The difference between the Super Voyager and Standard Voyager is the Super Voyager tilts, which allows it to maintain high speeds in the curves, West Coast Mainline. Leighton Buzzard also used to be a terminus stop, or a junction station even, for the, I want to say Dunstable Railway. I think it's Dunstable, just to the east of Leighton Buzzard between it. Yes, it's Leighton Buzzard, Dunstable, and Luton on that line. And the railways closed in the 1960s, and have since been turned into the Dunstable Super Busway network, which, again, I have used. In that case, I was going go-karting out in Dunstable. Once again, back up to max throttle, now trying to speed its way through to London. Looking at 0932 ETA, so again doing pretty good for timing. Pushing ourselves on third rails, we've so far covered just under 45 miles, just over 70 kilometres from start so far. Which has me also about halfway there. It's about 80 miles from London to Rugby, about 80 miles. Also means, also within 30 minutes now of the end of the service. So sit back, relax, enjoy the rest of our line. Going through Chedington, just up ahead. Chedington does have 4 platforms, both the high-speed lines and low-speed lines. The high-speed platforms only ever used on track work for the local slow lines. These platforms here never see fast train stops. As like I say, it's a very rural area, Chedington. Few houses, there's about 3 or 4 miles just to the east of here, to the east. Factories and warehouses, but not a lot going on over here. Quite a nice few hills though. Like I say, one of those stations that I'd like to visit one day. Not much to do, but has a semi-regular train service that get there anyway. Looking around the half-past arrival time, so another 25 minutes or so to London. Once we hit Watford Junction, that's when we can start being a bit more focused, I guess, in terms of the train operation. Since there's, well, a lot more to go on there. A lot more speed restrictions as well. In our case, it's a green signal. On the left-hand side, double yellow flashing. So that's basically the driver on the far left slow lane. But there's a speed limit change up ahead. Blocks and potentially either a set of points or another bit of traffic coming in the opposite direction. The answer, signals over there, quite a few signals up ahead. Potential then points for the platforms at Tring coming up. Some good flashing. Just passed through Pitstone Green. Platforms just up ahead. Guess that was a bit of a vantage point on the platforms. Again, Tring, quite a small little town. There's a large town about 3 miles to the west of the station. And I say, Tring kind of forms the first of the terminus stations, terminus routes out of London. And so, going back to what I was about earlier, the crash. So, back in 1905, I want to say 48 or 58, but I'm probably wrong with the year. There was a collision formed of 3 trains out of Haymarket Station. So you had a bus service going to, I believe it was Manchester at the time. You had a local Watford DC train and a local train from Tring going towards London Euston. There were 2 factors. So the slow lines were closed for maintenance on that weekend. It was a weekend and weekday. Basically, the lines were closed, so all trains running through the fast lines, and in some cases, where required, onto the Watford DC lines. So the mainline train, the Manchester train heading towards London Euston, was stationary at platform 3 or... platform 3 or 4, I think platform 3, and stuck a red signal for a couple of minutes, or a red semaphore back then. You then had the local train from Tring, who was running about 20 minutes late. Driver tried to catch up time and went through a red signal unknowingly, because at the time it was very foggy, low visibility, very poor weather. So train driver went through the red signal and ended up crashing into the back of the stationary train platform, Harrow-Waterstone platform. Then, at the same time, another train, local train, went through. Also at the same time to crash, so that got involved, 3-train wreck. And then, I can't remember, there was a Watford DC train involved, if that one was impacted on the other tracks, or narrowly avoided it. But it was a 3-4 train pile-up at Harrow-Waterstone, and is, to this day, the worst peacetime casualty number in the UK, post-war. 100 and something casualties, 110 I think it was, casualties. Look at photos of it online, it's a big crash that. And ultimately led to the early creation of WAYS AWS, the train alerting warning system. So now, instead of passing through a signal, nothing happens, you get the buzzer, which warns you of the upcoming signal changes. So that was then developed from it, but it took until the Clapham Junction incident, which then made it... Clapham Junction kind of then sped up development of it, and then it was one on the Great Western Mainline in 1996 that they made it regulation legal, that you had to have it on at all times. There's a long history of UK railway and safety systems. Again, well worth researching. You can get a bit more of an in-depth history behind that. Okay, just about to pass through Hemel Hempstead next. After Hemel Hempstead, the next major station will be Watford Junction. So like I say, from that point on, we need to put a bit more focus on the actual train controls for the operation for the next bit of our journey. Well, so it's quite nice to be in a fast train, speed through the main city, speed through everything, just run straight through to London. And to cover, well, Rugby to London an hour. I mean, the fastest time to get from Birmingham to London will be 1 hour 20 minutes on the Pendolinos. So to get Rugby to London an hour, well, 59, 57 odd minutes, it's a good feat of, like, well, how the train operates, both the speed, both the operation of it. It's very well tuned. These 350 units do pack a punch. Do very much pack a punch there. For the Voyager trying to go by. Going through Apsley next. Kings Langley slowly coming towards us now. So Kings Langley is the last real the first. If you go to the northwest of England, or outside of London, sorry, to the northwest outside of London, Kings Langley is really the first town you really hit outside of the Greater London region, because you've already got Watford, which is of course Hertfordshire rather than London. Fun fact: Watford is not in London, never has been, never will be. There are a lot of people, well, people who say Watford are in London, or Watford is in London, are those who live in Watford. Everywhere else, Watford is outside of London. It's within the M25 boundary, but not within London itself. But King's Langley is the first rural township you get when leaving London area to the northwest. So you look at the map as well on the third rails portion on the right. There you can start to see that it gets to get a bit busier, so more houses, more buildings, more roads, as everything starts to get a little bit more built up. And also very much within the commuting distance of London as well, so if you work within London, King's Langley station probably gets to the central of London in about, well, 20-30 minutes. In that case, like 15 even to the end of the line now. The local service to our left. Oops, down to 110 again, so drop the brakes a tiny bit, so just again the train naturally slow down, coast down. And notch one, just put a little bit of power train, just kind of keep it rolling. Right, so off the junction, now visible on the map. And if you look at the third rails map, you can also see the St Albans Abbey line, Watford North and Garston stations, both being on that. So if I leave my... Let's have ready on the controls now. Got tiny bits. So Watford Junction's where things really start to get a bit busy now. If I zoom myself right up to the station, there's the Abbey line. Sorry, that's the Cortland's siding, sorry. That's not the Abbey line. Abbey line is a single bit of track that heads just outside the station itself. Just visible there, at the far end of the station. We position ourselves onto the high-speed tracks, platform 7. Let's have come through. There we go. So you have your fast lines, you have your slow lines, you have the Watford Abbey line, and also the Watford DC lines, which terminate here at Watford Junction, and at one point also had Bakerloo lines that terminate here as well. But back in the 1980s, 86 I want to say, the line was then brought back from Watford Junction and now terminates at Harrow and Waterstone. You have the Bushy Viaduct, which is not quite parallel to us, but it's in the distance over there, running through a separate bridge. That goes via Bushy Station and Watford High Streets. Then merges together at Bushy Station. You'll see the curved platform on the right hand side. And at this point on, we now run as 6 tracks rather than 4 tracks. So you have our slow lines to the left, fast lines in the middle, Watford DC on the far right. Have your up lines to London, your down lines to destinations. Uplands Park Station now on the right hand side. Voyager as well. A busy day for Voyagers, I must say. Quite a few services on the track so far. In terms of the West Coast Mainline south routes that you do get the sim, you get the Voyagers, obviously, is what train sets. You get the Class 350 units as well for the London Midland Railway, and you also get the United Pendolino as well in Trenitalia Avanti West Coast colours. The 300 Pendolino, part of the original 300 Pendolino Pro Adam Dato had, but when Virgin trains were made defunct, they kind of lost last of that, so it's now been all made up pretty... It's a good train, it's a good train. I've done a few videos on that in the past, and yeah, still one of my favourites in the sim. The 390 Pendolino is still one of my favourites in the UK, but not quite 395 level. The 395 Javelin Still my top train and my favourites here in the country. But for me, I'm going to be a networker. The 166, 165, 36 something, can't remember the flat one on the Great Northern. You've got the 465 and 466s, obviously. Classic networkers. Can't go wrong with them for me. Great little trains. So head to the lane down the right hand side. Very shortly we'll be passing through Harrow and Waterstone, which was the terminus of the Bakerloo line, and also next platform to go through. Increase speed again slightly because we have lagged a little bit on the speed I've noticed. Dropped down about 75 miles per hour, still 110 at this point on. If I was to give one negative to the electric stars, it's the very tiny boxed-in window that it kind of sat in. And obviously when trains connect you can create a gangway so that allow passengers to go through the train without any problem. But you do kind of lose some of the driving space and you get stuck in this little box. But it's obviously, it's not bad to work through. I mean, in terms of train control, you got it all in front of you, so you got your speedometer, you got your breaker pressure, sorry, that's your brake pressure, that's your electricity, all your controls, that kind of stuff. It's all there, it's all stuff that you can very much use. For Junction, sorry, Harrow and Waterstone. But again, with the networkers, because especially the 465, 466, which are, well, oops, in the wrong seats. Which the so the networkers became the Electrostar. Well, the 166, 165 became the Turbo Stars. The ones 465, 466 became the Electrostars. And so, I guess one of the benefits of having the network of the ball front wide base is that you have much bigger windows, no gangway in the middle to break it all apart. They are very crazy trains to work with them. Again, network, well, yeah, Electrostars, more efficient, high top speeds, run a lot faster, better capacity. New trains have better benefits. People may not like them as much. New trains do certainly have their benefits. So now passing through Kenton, South Kenton. Just make a pack up there. Pass through North Wembley and Wembley Central. Outside Wembley Central, you'll then see the DC line on the right hand side dip underground, and then that eventually appears on the left hand side after it goes through all depots. And then things like that a little bit more interesting in regards to the track as well. Still looking good for speed, and I need to start decelerating just yet. Through Watford. Down to 110 now. Video will follow. It's this point now. And start slow down for the arrival at the terminus later on. So you can now see on the right side there's no more off DC line. We are now on the outside railways out of London. Stonebridge Park station slightly out to the left hand side. Badgers again with the main line through Harlesden. Okay, just about to see the track now. Not quite connected to us, there's a bit of a gap, bit of a distance. Again, we do start to merge now, and slowly all the lines come 6 again. Going through the EWS sidings, English West Scottish, well, was the English West Scottish, now part of Deutsche Bahn, EWS, now part of DB. That's the freight networks there. Left hand side you've got the Waterstone Junction bus depot. I believe it's Metro Line, as wasn't depot. I believe it's Metro Line, that one. Down to 85, that 1 mile, mile and a half. Light train again naturally slow down, coast down as we make the approach, but we'll put a little bit of braking in later on to get close to that speed. 85 down to 80, about 400 yards after that. As your overground towards the DC line. Now it's a capsule unit based on Electrostar, but doesn't have the gangways at the front and also full traverse seating within the interiors. So it's a train very much built for commuter and high capacity. You see, we naturally slow down to 85 by the 85 points. Again, let's down to 80 on its own as well, and potentially down to 55 as well before we need to put any braking in anyway. As it's slowing down, it's a very simple train to coast. Oops. Wasn't a AWS alarm there. And slightly speeding, so a little bit braking in. At this point, we now start to assist it with its approach into Euston. Euston, of course, seems to get another line. We're going to have the HS2 network that starts out of Euston. And they'll be currently on the far west side of the station, so knocked down a couple of old apartment buildings. And eventually, we'll replace it with new platforms. They exit out of Euston, very soon dig into the tunnel, and shoot for Old Oak Common, where it gets to the Great Western Mainline, and from Old Oak Common, down to Birmingham on the high-speed lines. A little bit more braking now, drop down to 55. That'll do for now. Leave it on the off position, down to 50 outside of the St John's Tunnel here. You pass through Camden Town, which was the original, not terminus, but the original kind of train warehousing and depot for Robert Stephenson's original West Coast Mainline. Very fine, and very shortly also arrive at Robert Stephenson's great London Euston Station. Stephenson, of course, being the one who was the first kind of, well, London Birmingham Railway was Robert Stephenson's creation, and I believe it was his son that extended it from Birmingham up towards the northern regions. The Stephenson family were very much with the earliest railway. And don't forget, it was Stephenson's rocket. That was the first train ever run here in the UK. Right, 1 mile to go now. Back on the brakes, bring that to about 40. In terms of timing, we are in fact about 10 minutes early, which is better than I was expecting early, so that's always another benefit as well, or another bonus. I think we've actually done rather well for our time right now. And then we're expected to arrive into platform number 3. In reality, London North Eastern Railway trains, sorry, London Western trains end up in the east part of the so platform 12 is on the schedule right now. We'll be going to the Vanti platform 3 for later. Dual yellow, so that was the WS for that. Let's know that the next signal will be yellow, single yellow. And after that, red signal means stop, and that'll be ending the platforms. Below 40 miles per hour. Down to 25 on the approaching station. Anyway, so single yellow. Just above that, you can see number 3 is listen up. So, I tell you that number 3 is a new. Whoops. Ah, emergency brakes. What done wrong there? What have I done wrong there? Was it speed related? I imagine that was speed related. I think like 1 or 2 miles per hour just above the 40 limit. That's a whoops on my parts. Just quietly resume journey there. I'm sure I was braking at least, well, not enough for the tripcock to not go off. Tripcock is king. Never go against what tripcock says. Right, bring that back. Drive down to 15 dense platforms. Bring our train to a rest. We'll be sure to bring it down below 15 this time. In fact, bring it down to maybe 5-10 miles per hour. Into station as slow as possible. For maximum safety as we cross the other platform. It's a very detailed station this here at Euston as well. Very nice looking terminus ends here. A few shops at the back, a little bit of the arcade. Comes together, does look rather good. And of course the town of Flange, so a train that's slowly crossing the end of the platform. Bring it right to the buffers, stop just short of that. Stay up the train and bring it to an end. Bit braking on, just help to slow down. Just before the blue fence. Brake, bring it to a stop. Doors open. And now passengers embark. Set the reverser to the off position. Leave it at full brake. Lights will also switch off as well. I must say, not a bad run that. Not a bad run at all. Well done, you've reached the end of this quick drive scenario. Let's see how we did. Yeah, similar to catch up, there we go. Right, so, like I said, that was service 1 uniform at 20, and that's the 0714 from Crewe to London Euston from Rugby, taking over to Euston. Took us a total 1 hour on the clock, 1 hour 7 seconds, so we've done pretty rough timing there. Hit WX 4 times at the very end there, sped 9 times again. Small things, but I'm sure with more route knowledge, things will start to work out from there. But I'll say, it's a fun little route, this Euston to Birmingham to Euston, Euston to Birmingham, West Coast Mainline South. That was the Class 350 EMU, that was a trip from Rugby to London Euston. And yeah, that brings us now to the end of our little journey today. So, thank you all for watching, thank you all for taking part. Massive thank you to Dovetail Games for allowing me to take part in their March Madness as well. As always, much appreciated, always enjoy doing these little extra community things as well. Just kind of showcasing more of you guys as well. So if you want to see more of me, I'm at YouTube on I'm on YouTube as Drawyah, so feel free to search on that. And yeah, I guess it's on to the next showcase now. So thank you for watching, take care, and I'll see you again later. Bye bye, and thank you.
There you go. Just to round out the evening, don't forget tomorrow we're coming back. Jamie will be with Rivet Games, and they'll be demoing the Rosalini on Train Sim World 2, followed by Thinkfly New with us for a run on the Dresden route, and then Nordrhein will be doing a run on the Gotthardbahn. That all kicks off at 8 p.m. tomorrow, folks. Hope to see you then. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you later on. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.